The Englishman who went up a hill and came down with all the bananas. Hello, I'm the Englishman who went up a hill and came down with all the bananas, leaving, of course, the inhabitants of the hill with no bananas, and therefore bestowing the term selfish upon myself. You're so selfish! I know, but I've got all the bananas. Well, aren't you going to eat them? Why, of course not. You can't eat bananas without strawberries. Hello, I'm the Swede who went up the hill and came down with all the strawberries, leaving, of course, the inhabitants of the hill with no strawberries, and therefore bestowing the term selfish upon myself. You're not Swedish. Shh! You're so selfish. I know, but I've got all the strawberries. Well, aren't you going to eat them? Oh no, you can't eat strawberries without bananas. Pardon me, good Swede. Could you spare a strawberry? No. You're so selfish.
How far are you taking this?
Excuse me, Mr. Englishman. Could I trouble you for a banana? No. You're so selfish. You guys are not so bright. The end. Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
Pretty good. I actually know what that was from, I think.
Everyone knows what that's from.
VeggieTales.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
I was bored.
All right. So in real time, it's been a few weeks since we've recorded, so feels good to be back.
Like 3-ish or so.
3-ish, yeah, roughly. Oh, man. But we've got a good topic today, and we actually did some research for once, so that's great.
Do we do research on this podcast?
Not much, no. I mean, a little bit. Sometimes.
Huh. Yeah, I guess we kind of just hear about something, and then we're just like, hey, everyone.
Yeah, we just
hey, all 6 of you out there.
Yeah, we just kind of wing it. But yeah, this is
I
one
don't
of the
know.
rare times.
I haven't like presentation, like college and high school, and it has been years since I actually practiced for any sort of speech or presentation. I've literally winged every single one of them.
It's been years since I've had to give any kind of speech or presentation.
I mean, I've had to give a few.
I mean, I guess
it's like I don't bother practicing anymore, because it's like if you practice, all you're doing is thinking about trying to stick exactly to your script, and then it doesn't work.
Yeah, well, that's so even what they tell you in like speech class and speech classes and such, they tell you not to like do it write it out word for word. You're supposed to kind of, have a list of notes that you follow, but don't read them verbatim.
Yeah.
So I guess you should still practice just so you know all the points you want to hit. But
I mean, it's fine. I'm good at improvising. So I mean, it seems to work okay. What I have to do.
There's a healthy balance somewhere in there. You need to improvise a bit, but you need to have some of it kind of scripted out. But I don't know. I haven't given a speech since, I guess, one of my psychology classes. We had to do a presentation on it's boring stuff. But yeah, we had to do presentations
I'm trying to think
for
about
that.
the last presentation I even gave.
Yeah, that was
I feel like it was the one. I feel like it was the one about my long-term writing project. You know about it.
Oh, I know about it.
I feel like it was that one when I was presenting the little bit that I'd done for my college project. Yeah, you know about the whole thing. Basically, I didn't practice that one at all. I think that was the last one I had to give. But it's like, I don't need to practice this. I know this backwards and forwards.
Yeah, so that's something that well, you created it in its entirety, so you don't exactly need to research it.
No.
Yeah.
I know everything about it.
Yeah.
All right. So, before we start, I'm going to tell you about this thing.
What thing is that?
So, you remember... Well, no, it'll all connect. Okay, so, you remember Fairly Odd Parents Season 8?
Vaguely. It's been a long time since I've watched that show. I don't even know if I even saw Season 8. I don't remember where I stopped watching.
You might have. Do you remember the episode about Timmy's secret wish?
No, I do not.
Okay, so, let me catch you up. In that episode, in Season 8...
he makes 1,000,000 wishes. And so he gets a special parade in his honor. But then they find out that a lot of his wishes suck. So now the Fairy Council is reviewing him to see and then they basically bring him to trial for worst god kid ever, which it's like, by the way, I find that hard to believe given that we have established in the show previously that one god kid literally caused World War I and by extension World War II. And it's like, there's no way he's worse than that.
But the continuity of the Fairly Odd Parents is loose at best.
Well, yeah, loose at best, and then even worse in the later seasons where they just kind of just flat out stop caring.
Yeah, well, I'm very certain I have not seen this episode. So.
Okay, so I'll tell you what happens in it. I guess put up the spoilers tag. I'm not sure it matters.
Technically, it's a spoiler, so it's up.
It's a spoiler for something that's other than the Rise of Skywalker. So, yeah, put it up.
Yep,
I guess.
It's up.
Here's what happens. Okay, this could be here. Okay, write this down somewhere. At some point, we need to talk about Fairly Odd Parents because I have a lot of problems with how that universe apparently operates, but I don't have time to get into all of them today. Here's the deal. He's going into Godchild Ever. Foop shows up as his
Oh, I think it's cutting out a little bit.
Oh, hey, there it is in the Discord.
Yeah, that's right. I wrote it down.
Foop shows up as.
Just a heads up, though. You're starting to cut out a bit. Make sure you're not running any
Parents.
downloads.
No, I don't have any downloads running.
Yeah. Well, that's what you said last time.
No, but shut up. Okay, am I cutting out anymore?
No, I think you're good.
Okay, so Foop is the prosecutor. By the way, Foop is anti-Poof, who's their son, and he's an anti-fairy, and he's a cube, and he's like also the Griffin, but blue.
Well, he's also the only anti-fairy whose name follows that reverse naming scheme.
Yeah, I know.
Which I find weird.
They were like, you are the anti-Poof, therefore you must be named Foop, and that's in his debut, and it's like, what? No.
Which I'm
what?
Sure, like, isn't it just like anti-Cosmo and anti-Wasma or Wasma?
Anti-Wan. Yeah, no, all of them are literally just anti-whoever.
Yeah, so why is he get
except for Foop?
Yeah, maybe just because that name sounds funnier than like.
I don't know. I think they wanted to make the joke of over dramatically yelling the word Foop, but then of course he just has that name for the rest of the show. Anyways, okay, they're like, so Cosmo is assigned to be because the Fairy Council is kind of like completely unfair. Cosmo is assigned to be the defense attorney, and Foop is the
prosecutor.
And so he's like, oh, we're gonna prove that you're not the worst godchild. And then Cosmo's like, what? I thought we were proving you were the worst godchild. What am I going to do with this literal mountain of evidence? And then Foop takes all of it. Bear this in mind. This is evidence that Cosmo gathered, so it'll be important later. So anyways, they go through some of his wishes that things that he sucks. Then he gives a heartfelt speech at the end, and they're about like, you know what? Yeah, you're not the worst. We're going to declare you not guilty, which they do. And then there's a really long overdramatic shot of him getting ready to smack the gavel as if that's the determining factor for him being not guilty. So then Foop goes through all the evidence and he's like, aha, it turns out he hasn't made 1,000,000 wishes. He's made 1,000,001. He made a secret wish. And it's like, and then he has a document that's labeled Timmy's secret wish. And so before I get into this, he made the secret wish, which is illegal because they want to keep all wish. That was another thing that didn't make any sense, is that they're like, all wishes have to be carefully documented because remember the last secret wish, this person wished for a fairy eating cockatoo, and it's like, if it was a secret, that didn't seem like a secret wish. It seemed like he just wished for it, and you all know about it. So what?
Sounds like he just made a bad wish.
Well, it's like, how would you even make a secret wish? You have to wish for it. But I digress. In this case, he wished for something and then wished that Cosmo would forget about it. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. Then how did he get the document? He gathered the evidence. So how does he have that evidence if he didn't know about it?
That's a good point.
Where did he get it? But okay, no, that's not why. Here's how it all comes together. Do you want to know what the secret wish turns out to be?
Sure.
He wished that so you know how cartoons in general, and the Fairly Odd Parents being no exception, the characters will just kind of go on for like years and years without ever aging, but you don't really think about it because it's a floating timeline.
Yeah.
So it turns out that he wished that everyone on Earth would stop aging so that he could keep his fairy godparents forever, and he made that wish 50 years ago.
What?
Yes, he wished 50 years ago, before the show started, I guess, that everyone on Earth would stop aging forever so he could keep his fairy godparents. And it's like, okay, wait a minute.
How does no
so-
one know about that?
I don't know. And then, no, what they do to undo the wish is they spontaneously age everything on the planet up 50 years all at once. So basically ensuring that the entire human race is now doomed to extinction. It gets undone by the end of the episode, of course. But, no, and then guess after that happens, he's declared the worst godchild, and then all of his wishes are undone, which includes Poof, because Poof was a wish. Which, by the way, that's another one of the existential horrors of Fairly Odd Parents. All the wishes that a godchild makes are undone after they grow up. Poof is one of his wishes. So, I mean, you know,
yeah,
that's going to happen eventually. I don't know. We'll get into this on the Fairly Odd Parents episode because it's one of the things that's always bothered me. So, anyways, a bunch of other stuff happens. It's not important. The important part is that this twist is stupid, and it's stupid because it feels like it's like one of those really stupid, edgy fan fictions, but like it's just actually the episode. Like, oh, why does nobody age in the show? Because, like, when nobody ages in a cartoon, you just think it's because it's a floating timeline, and then you don't think about it anymore. Why do comic book characters, why are they all still in their 40s or 30s?
So in other
why have they
words,
not aged at all?
so
And it's like, it's
sorry,
not
go ahead.
important. Sorry, yeah. But, like, bottom line, it's not important. It's just a feature of the genre. But this is like they're trying to take a thing that didn't need to be explained and give it an explanation that's pointlessly edgy and stupid, but, like, it's just the actual episode. Which, by coincidence, is a really good segue into our actual topic. Tell him, Futterman.
Oh, dang, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, so what you're saying is that sounds like a bad fan theory, and that's a segue.
Yes.
All right, and by the way,
Yes.
I'm Futterman. Wait, I think we forgot to do that again.
Yeah, I'm Mingus, by the way. We forget every time. At this point, I think it might be intentional.
I think at this point, the pattern we've set up is we forget to introduce ourselves and then do it anyways later.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to drop the spoiler banner now.
Yeah, you can turn it off.
That was my spoiler banner.
Anyways,
dropping
that's what
sound
happens
effect.
in that episode.
Yeah, so
It
that
feels
sounds like a
like
bad
fan fiction.
Sounds like a horrible fan theory, and that's what our episode.
Yeah.
That's what this episode's about. Fan theories.
Bad fan theories.
Yeah, mostly bad ones. I mean, some of these, I don't know. We'll just call it the fan theory episode, but these are ones that I think we mostly consider to be bad fan theories.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, I have one. I may as well just share this one first because you've heard it before, but I don't even think it's necessarily a bad fan theory. The idea that Padme... Wait, do we need to put spoilers for Star Wars Episode 3? Does this count?
Yes,
Everyone
yeah.
knows this.
I mean, people probably know, but we'll still respect it. Spoiler banner's up, but it's for episode 3, so you've probably
All
already
right.
seen it, or if you haven't seen it, you probably don't care anyways, so...
Yeah. Anyways, the idea that Padme... that he subconsciously stole the Force away from her to keep himself alive, that whole theory.
Yeah, well, sort of.
And I mean, honestly, there's a lot of good evidence that could support this.
Yeah, so that's actually a pretty good fan theory, and it's also good in the sense that, like, whether or not it's true, it doesn't really change anything. It's just kind of a possible explanation for something that undeniably happened one way or another. But yeah, I think my understanding of it is it's something to do with, like, basically when Palpatine tells Anakin that he killed Padme, he was actually telling the truth. That he essentially, like, siphoned the life out of her to keep himself alive, and that somehow Palpatine, like, played a part in this. And it kind of makes sense, because I think the big point of it is that, like, Palpatine doesn't typically lie, which, I mean, he does in other, like, at least not in the main trilogy, he doesn't lie. I think in some of the other stuff he does, but
It was an outright lie.
he never outright lied to Anakin before, so it seemed kind of weird that he would
Yeah.
lie there about something like that.
And I mean, the evidence offered up is the fact that she's clearly alive after he Force chokes her. The droids don't know about the Force, so they wouldn't be able to explain it. She says that she's lost the will to live, but she clearly hasn't, given how hard she's trying to hold on to it after the fact. And then the fact that the 2 heartbeats thing, and then both heartbeats stop, and then it's just Anakin's heartbeat now that he's Darth Vader.
Which that's just good sound design in itself right there.
Yeah,
I don't know,
I mean,
it's
honestly,
pretty cool.
and then the fact that she was taken to a secret location and that he could feel her in the Force, which means there's no way Palpatine would be able to know about it unless he was confirming in that moment that she was gone, and that was what he was hoping would happen so that he could cement Darth Vader's loyalty since he would now have nothing.
No, audio cut
I
out
don't
there
know.
for a
There's a lot
second.
of evidence that could suggest this to be true.
Yeah, no, I think that's actually a pretty good fan theory as far as fan theories go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
But
gonna
that's not
take
what
spoiler.
this episode's about.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take the spoiler banner down now. But I guess something we should say just at the get go. Nothing against any of the people that made these fan theories. I'm going into this with the understanding
I
that
have something against a few of them.
okay, maybe a few of them, yeah. But in general, I don't have anything against people that write fan theories, and I also understand a lot of people just do it for fun. They may not even like actually believe their own fan theory. I think for this episode, we're kind of taking it more from the angle that, like, you know, if you try to look at this as like unreal, like we're looking at it from the angle of it's supposed to be taken seriously and believed to be real, even if that's not necessarily what the creator intended, you know? Because there's a lot, like, because it's pretty easy.
The problem
with
the internet, Poe's law.
Poe's law,
The problem.
That's the problem.
I can't tell which things were actually intended to be serious and which things were parodies. That's the thing.
Yeah,
constant problem.
Drink of water. I'm very thirsty for some reason.
Oh yeah, what are you drinking today, Futterman?
Oh, I'm drinking Tap brand water.
Tap brand.
It's just tap water.
I'm drinking Mountain Dew brand soda, voltage flavor.
I am drinking it out of my...
registered trademark charged with raspberry citrus flavor and ginseng and other natural flavors.
And I am indeed drinking my water out of a...
Oh, dang it. Delicious.
I happen to be drinking my water out of a Hydro Flask brand aluminum water bottle, though. So there's my
not sponsored.
Placement. Yeah, not sponsored, but there's my...
But if we were, give us a call.
Yeah, not sponsored, but I wish I was.
Honestly, I would love to be sponsored by like a really obscure thing. Like, I don't know, just like something like Joe's rubber gaskets and fix things. Just something really obscure. Or again, specifically pizza flavored Pringles.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know that they would do that. I don't know that Pringles would sponsor just one specific flavor, but I don't know.
No, it's just funny.
You should pitch that to Pringles once we have an actual following.
Yeah, no, right now we have 6.
6 fans, roughly.
Yeah, and also, I don't even think that totally counts because one of them is me. That's just so I can keep up with the channel.
Yeah. Anyways, should we get into our fan theories?
Yeah, here. I'll start us off with some ones that I'm fairly certain are not real fan theories. They're just like terrible. So they're just terrible, like so bad they're good theories, like, they're funny to read.
Just like, yeah.
So I'll start with these because I don't think these ones are meant to be serious.
Yeah. All right. What is it?
Number 1, Office Space is the Matrix. I don't think we need the spoilers for these.
Probably not.
Office Space is the Matrix if Neo took the blue pill. That's the whole plot of the movie.
Well, I haven't actually seen Office Space, but it makes a lot of sense.
Number 2, Gandalf told the Fellowship to fly because he wanted to level up.
What?
So that he told them to run away so he could take the Balrog by himself therefore get all the experience points.
He wanted to hoard the XP. Okay.
Exactly, yes.
Beautiful.
Number 3, R2-D2 is actually swearing the whole time.
Oh my gosh, there's a video on YouTube that I'll send you later, but someone added subtitles to Chopper from Rebels, and he is not saying G-rated things. That's what I'll say. He swears.
What do you mean they added subtitles? He's not actually speaking.
Well, when you listen to it with the subtitles, you can actually kind of make out the words. Like, I don't think that that's actually what he was supposed to be saying, but it's amazing how well it fits. That's all I'll say.
I mean, I guess, but that's the same kind of logic behind like bad lip reading. Is like, I know that they're not saying all those things, but though it still fits.
Yeah, but it's like that in reverse because it actually does kind of sound like that's what he's saying, but only if you're actually reading the words along with it. But it's funny.
Do you realize? Have you ever looked? Do you know that on the Winston Churchill videos, that is like the only time, bafflingly enough, that the YouTube auto-generated captions actually get it right.
Yeah, and what's funny is once you know what he's actually saying, you can never hear the other thing again.
That is what you're trying to try to do.
Yeah, say it. Now I can actually, when I listen to that, all I hear is like what he's actually saying because I use the captions.
Number 4.
All right, yeah.
Breaking Bad is actually all in Jesse's head the whole time.
Well, that's another one I haven't seen, so I can't speak to it. But I mean,
I haven't seen Breaking Bad either.
But I do know that
it's on my list.
I do know that I think the premise for those theories is it's all a dream. You know, it's just pretty self-explanatory. You got any more for
We'll get into that later.
Yeah, we got. I'm sure we both have some on that fall into that category. Number
5, the Doctor from Doctor Who doesn't share his name because he doesn't want anyone to look up his thesis. Far Cry 3 was actually, the entire thing was just a tattoo cover story.
A tattoo cover story? Oh, gotcha. He's explaining why he suddenly has tribal tattoos all over his body.
Exactly.
That's
it's
hilarious.
Just a tattoo cover story. All right, number 7. Ant-Man has been in every Marvel movie.
Oh.
In the background. Just very small.
Or maybe right in the foreground and you just can't see him.
7.5. So has Drax.
Oh, that's perfect.
Age of Ultron is actually about the Avengers finding out how old Ultron is. Now, obviously, this one was disproven by the movie coming out.
What? Oh, gotcha.
Yes, Avengers, Age of Ultron. He's 5. Let's moving on. All right, number 9. How I Met Your Mother is actually a coming out story about Ted. It's about Ted finding out that he's trans and then becoming the girl of his dreams, which is why Bob Saget is telling the story, and Ted had a sex change and the kids are adopted.
Okay, as someone who hasn't seen that show, I can't speak to that one at all.
I can speak to it. It's these are the completely BS ones.
Oh, I know that. Yeah, but that one didn't.
Number 10, Iron Man and Iron Man 2 are the same person. Though the series would have you believe that Iron Man 2 is Iron Man's successor, I believe they are, in fact, the same Iron Man. There are many subtle clues and plot continuities that lead me to believe it's really just one guy the whole time. Coincidentally, both are played by Robert Downey Jr.
What about Iron Man 3?
Number 11, Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory is a garden rake. I'm not sure why I have to explain this. If you look at all the episodes, it's evident he's a garden rake. They all hate him because he's a garden rake. He can't drive because he's a garden rake. I mean, it's obvious when you think about it.
Right, you got
the Jedi don't actually have powers. The lightsabers are just wrapping paper tubes, and the Force is just people pretending. And then this one, my personal favorite from this list. Okay, well, there's also one of the Weasley twins in Harry Potter is adopted. Only one of them. Think about it. Think about it. Let's look at this logically. What are the chances that the Weasley's parents have 2 of the exact same baby at the exact same time? Astronomically low, right? But if they had one baby and then found a matching one at, say, a Wizard yard sale, even with their limited funds, they'd be able to buy it. I'm not leaning up I haven't figured out which one, but I'm leaning towards George. And then this is the last one, and then you can go. This is my personal favorite. Friends is actually an acronym for the characters on the show. F for Phoebe, R for Rachel, Bing Chandler with the I highlighted, Monica, Joey, D, and then Ross. But the S is highlighted.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
just
good.
love that D is by itself. Anyways, your turn.
All right. So yeah, I don't have a list of those.
No, these ones were terrible. These aren't real.
Yeah.
I don't think.
So yeah, I've got my list of theories up here. I'm just gonna go through them in order, I guess, and we'll just discuss them. First one, SpongeBob.
Well, not all of them. I have a bunch more too. We got to alternate.
Oh yeah, no, I know that, but yeah, I'll just go through them. And so my first one, the characters in SpongeBob are all radioactive mutants.
Okay, I've heard this one before.
Yeah, so this is a relatively popular one that I think a lot of people have heard.
I think this is just one of those examples of people taking things way too literally.
Yeah, well, I think this is also a case of I don't think the creator necessarily believed this was true, and I definitely don't think this is what the creators were going for. But the whole idea is that, the town is Bikini Bottom. Well, it just so happens that the Bikini Atoll is a real-life place where a lot of nuclear tests took place.
Which coincidentally is the stock footage they use for nuclear explosions in the show.
Yes, that's kind of like one of the big points of evidence is that almost all the stock footage they use of like a nuclear bomb going off in the ocean, that's footage from the tests at the Bikini Atoll. But the idea is that all these nuclear tests left a bunch of fallout, and that fallout mutated the fish into the characters in SpongeBob. And also a side note, I did not fact check this because I couldn't be bothered. But according to this one Reddit commenter, apparently the Navy kept chipmunks on their ships during these tests. I don't know why. Probably something to do with like testing the fallout or something. But apparently there were chipmunks on the ship, and that's possibly an explanation for why Sandy is here, even though Sandy's actually a squirrel.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of it.
Oh, dude, I forgot about skin theory. Do you know about skin theory?
Yeah, I think that's one of the ones that's done more for comedic effect than anything.
I can't tell.
Yeah, that's the one where it's like
Like the guy, he even put in the comments, if you can't tell this is a parody or serious, good.
Yeah, so doesn't that one entirely?
And it's like, dang it.
Yeah, I haven't read up on that one in a while, but what I remember is that basically everyone in Bikini Bottom, they're actually just like walking around in suits that look like.
Yeah. Everyone is actually a person wearing elaborate costumes.
And it's entirely hinges on that one scene where SpongeBob rips a guy's head off thinking it's plankton, and it turns out it's just a smaller fish in a bigger fish suit.
No, it hinges on other scenes. There's tons of evidence for skin theory. Don't you know? There's that one scene where the mailman gets the bad smell and he cracks open into three different dudes.
Yeah.
And then there's the one where SpongeBob rips off a costume of himself in the fun episode. And then some other ones.
Or where Squidward's wearing a salmon suit.
Yeah, but it's a cooked salmon because it's pink.
Salmon is pink, though.
No, not until you cook it.
As someone who has cooked salmon many, many times.
Sorry, not pink. It's a vibrant. The outside is a vibrant pink.
Oh yeah, the skin. The
inside, the skin is that color, but the inside, and it's a darker pink, which means that it's a skinned cooked salmon. So says skin theory.
I don't know. I don't know. Salmon is pink, especially wild salmon is a very dark pink even before you cook it. In fact, it actually gets paler when you cook it, I think, a little bit. Yeah, as for the skin, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
I don't know, man.
It doesn't matter, though. All right.
See, okay, so Bikini Bottom theory. This is, again, I think like it's one of those examples. There's a lot of fan theories. There's two general categories of fan theory that's just like, stop. Number one is, the whole thing is just a dream / hallucination / coma. Just all coma theories. Stop it. That's stupid.
Yeah.
I don't like those. And then the other one is, what if it turns out that this world was actually a different world?
Yeah.
These two movies share an actor. That means the character must secretly be the same character.
Oh, yeah, there's one. This isn't on my list, but there's one that, was it Sean Connery's character from The Rock is actually a retired James Bond. Mm-hmm. Which, I don't know. I haven't seen The Rock,
all
so
of
I can't
those
exactly speak to that.
That's like the bottom of the barrel fan theory. It's like it takes no effort. It's just, what if X movie was actually Y movie?
Yeah.
That's that's what it boils down to. There's so many. I feel like at the end of the day, there's a difference between making a theory and writing fan fiction. And a lot of these theories are just straight up writing fan fiction. Because so many of them boil down to, essentially, what if the story wasn't saying the thing that it was saying, but was actually saying a completely different thing that I'm going to hinge off of one screenshot?
Yeah. All right. Well,
anyways, continue.
Well, that was it for the SpongeBob theory. Are you ready for do you have another one, or?
Oh, I've got plenty, but I kind of took up the first bit, so you go next. You do a few.
All right, okay. Next one is... Okay, so disclaimer for this one. This one kind of reads more like a creepypasta than an actual fan theory, so I think this is definitely one of those cases where the creator didn't actually want this to be taken as an actual theory. It's more just like a fun thought experiment, possibly. But also, you never know for sure. But yeah, it's Ed and Eddie is actually purgatory.
Oh, this one.
Yeah. Say I
purgatory
think,
theory.
I don't know. Say it's like it reads more like a fan theory, or a creepypasta. But I did find a page about it on the fan theory wiki.
Yeah.
Yeah. So either way, basically the whole
explain it for those who don't know.
Yeah. So the whole idea is that all the kids in the cul-de-sac in Ed and Eddie are actually dead and all come from different time periods. So it's like Rolf was from the 19... Yeah.
Explain Plank.
Yeah, there is an explanation for Plank, actually. Well, they don't fully explain Plank, but at least not in the little bit I...
Is Plank actually the mask from Crash Bandicoot? Each feather represents a memory. Have you seen that, by the way?
I have not.
I'll show it to you later. Anyways, continue.
So this is kind of where I think it's more like creepypasta than fan theory, is that like they come up with such specific backstories for all the characters that it's like, you know, there's not a lot of evidence in the actual show for a lot of these. It's clear that they made a lot of this just from whole cloth. So that's kind of, yeah.
Which is a lot of theories are made from whole cloth.
Yeah, but anyways, like
It's like, hey guys, in one scene there's a blurry speck. This is clearly Ant-Man traveling through multiple universes.
yeah, so but yeah, basically, yeah, the cul-de-sac is purgatory. That kind of, and that's why there's no like clear time period when it takes place. You know, like you do see kind of that is true in the show. They didn't give it a defined time period, and you see like,
I mean,
you know, the TV that like most of the TVs look really old. Even by like the standards of when the show came out.
well, okay, you say that there's no time period, but I say yes, there is. It clearly takes place in the late 90s, early 2000s when it was made, like most things.
Yeah, probably, but I mean, they're
Most things just, yeah.
I don't know. That's just one of the things that the fan theory page said was that that's part of the theory is that it doesn't take place in any specific time period. And this explains why there are no adults in the cul-de-sac, except for when there are.
There are.
Yeah, there are a few times that adults appear, like kind of either off screen or you just.
I mean, you never see them.
Well, there's that one part where you see like their arm. I think like they grab. I think it's like Ed.
You see
like Ed and Eddie's
the
parents
arm
show
of
up.
Ed's dad.
Yeah. So.
And then there's the school episodes where like you hear the door close and footsteps and writing on the board. You don't see the teachers, but they're there.
Yeah, there obviously are teachers. Yeah, but anyways, let's go through the list though for each of the characters. So Rolf is from the early 1900s, and he was trampled by farm animals, and that's how he died, and why he's in the cul-de-sac, and why he's a farmer, and all that. Johnny died of tuberculosis in 1922, and brought his only friend Plank with him, because Plank, you know, he had, I guess, probably since he was he had tuberculosis, he couldn't be around the other kids, so his only friend that he had was Plank. So I guess they explain why he has Plank, but they don't explain why Plank is actually apparently sentient. But maybe that's just part of the weird afterlife stuff.
I remember that he says that, oh no, there's nothing weird about Plank. He's just an ordinary plank of wood. And it's like, yeah, except for the fact that during the movie, he straight up drives a bus.
Yeah. And
like, I've explained that one.
Isn't there also a scene where like Plank tells Johnny something? Like Johnny learns something from Plank that there was actually no way he could have known otherwise.
Yeah. Well, there's like several scenes, like there's a couple of scenes where like, well, Plank will fall over and then that like does something. But so it's like, it's kind of like hinting at it. But then there's a few scenes where it's like Johnny knows something that he couldn't have known because Plank told him. And it all culminates in the movie literally showing Plank driving a bus.
So yeah,
and it's like, okay, that one can't be explained.
Yeah. And I think that's part of the fun is it's just supposed to be up in the air. Anyways, continuing, Eddie is from the Great Depression, which explains why his goal is always to earn money. He died after being chased into a lake after a scam went bad, basically. All the kids got mad, chased him into a lake, and he drowned, and that's why he's in purgatory. I don't know where they came up with that.
So essentially, he has the same origin as Solomon Grundy.
Sure, yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Ed and Sarah died in a car accident in 1953. Don't know where there's any evidence for that, once again. Because
it's like a few of these, because it's like in this fan theory, some of them are more obvious, but then it's like now you have a couple left over. It's just like, oh, the car crashed.
Yeah. And then furthermore, for Ed and Sarah, their dad died in World War II, and that's made their mom became really distant after the trauma of that, and that's what made Ed retreat into like comic books and movies, and what made Sarah kind of take on the parent figure and become the bossy character that she is. This work is really dark. Naz is she was born in the 1960s to hippies, and she was assaulted and murdered by a serial killer.
Why?
Well, you know, when I say assaulted, I'm kind of censoring it there, but yeah, I don't know why that. I guess just because she's like.
But why though?
I don't know. I don't even want to linger on that. We're moving on. Ed with 2 Ds, so yeah, double D, was born in the 70s and died in a Bunsen burner explosion because he was a gifted student. Yeah, I don't. Once again,
it's like, see what I mean? It's like you're just
making stuff up. But the whole thing, like, there was a little more to Ed's or Double D's backstory.
It's like you had an idea, and then you just had to make stuff up to make the idea happen.
Well, it's like part of like his backstory. You could kind of see where they were coming from. Like, I didn't write all this in my notes, but I think it said something like he was a gifted child, and his parents always pushed him to succeed, and that's kind of what made him like the neurotic mess that we see him as in the show. But as for him dying in a Bunsen burner explosion, once again, it's a creepypasta more than a fan theory. They just made that up. Next, Kevin's from the 1980s. He grew up in a broken home, which is why he is a bully. He takes out his aggression on other kids, and he was beaten to death by his dad. And in the afterlife, he imagines his dad as being a loving father who gives him lots of gifts, which is why he's like, always talking about how awesome his dad is in the show. Jimmy was born in the 1990s and diagnosed with leukemia, which made it so he was isolated from all the other kids until he died because, he had a weak immune system. I don't know where they come up with any of that. No part of the show, like anything about John. Yeah, nothing about Jimmy in the show made me think that he was, had leukemia. I don't know where that came from.
None of it comes from someone's brain.
Yeah, and then
it's a dumb theory.
And then this is the part that's really probably the most fun part of this theory. The Canker sisters are actually demons that only exist in purgatory to torment the souls that didn't make it to heaven.
Okay, here's what I'll say. Side tangent. People say that the Canker sisters are the worst part of the show because they always just show up at the last second to take the win away. And it's like, I just watched the show. It's like, do you realize how very little the Canker actually appear in that show? They're in very few episodes relative to the actual seasons. They appear like maybe once or twice per season. And like only 2 episodes do they show up at the end of the episode, having not been in the episode previously, just to steal the win away. So it's like, that does not happen as much as you seem to think it does.
Yeah, and once again, like, and even if they do steal the win away, it's like, the show is, it's kind of a downer show. I mean, it's not supposed to have, I don't think that show ever has.
It's a Kafka comedy.
Yeah, I don't think that show ever has a happy ending.
No, it does. The movie.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. That's when you get your one final.
But that's the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, they can't win because it's. No, that's the thing. They're unsympathetic characters. Double D is the most sympathetic, but Eddie is an inherently unsympathetic character, and all of his failings are usually brought about by his own actions. The problem with the Canker that people always say with the Cankers is that they're in a slapstick show, but they're immune to getting slapstick because they can never lose, which is inherent in this kind of comedy. But it's like they're not used that much. But it's just people overstate how often they're actually in the show. It's like they're really not in it very much.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, the last part of the series though that I think is the most fun, or at least the most comedic, is here's a few points of evidence in support of this theory that once again I pulled off the wiki. One, the characters' tongues are blue, which is what happens when you die.
Oh yeah, of course.
It is true. A lot of characters have blue tongues, but I don't think all of them do. So that kind of
it's just an art. It's an art thing.
Yeah, not even all of them do. I think some of them have other colored tongues.
Yeah, green.
Another one is, once again, there are no other children or adults present, which I think we've already said isn't entirely true. There are obviously other kids and adults that are just off screen all the time. Next point was the summer never ends, except it does because they had a Christmas episode. And they go back to school, which happens in the fall.
Now, the holidays don't totally line up. If you look at all the holidays, they occur before they should. Like the Halloween episode takes place after the Christmas episode.
It could have taken place the next year, couldn't it?
No, that's the thing. Like some shows actually go through the extra effort and have if it's like takes place over, like As Told by Ginger takes place over the course of middle school and then the beginning of high school. Like I think they're in 7th grade they're either in 7th or 8th grade for most of the show, but they make sure that the holiday episodes are actually in order.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like they go through them in the proper order that they would if they were going through the school year.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they've ever outright said how like much time Ed and Eddie takes place over. It's kind of a loose continuity, really.
Well, yeah, it roughly takes place over the course of one summer and then the beginning of a school year.
Well, either way, we very clearly see times when it isn't summer. We see, it is very clearly winter in the Christmas episode. So I don't know why that's even a point of evidence. And then,
in the timeline of the show, the first 4 seasons take place in the cul-de-sac, and then season 6 is not a real season; it's one episode. Season 5 has the first episode be that summer is over, it's getting colder, and now the kids go back to school, and then the rest of the episodes take place at the school.
Gotcha.
So, even from the main, disregarding the holiday episodes, the summer ends. There's a whole episode about it, and then they're in school for the rest of it.
Huh. Yeah, I don't actually know if I've ever seen that show in its entirety. I feel like, I watched a ton of it as a kid, but I only ever watched it on TV, so I can't say for certain I've seen every single episode.
I have.
I don't know. It's been a long time since I watched it though. But yeah, then the last point was just that there's never any other locations aside from like that small town. But you know, in the movie, they go on a road trip.
Except in the movie where they leave the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, so maybe this was written before the movie came out. But yeah, that's.
I mean, doesn't that theory say that them leaving the cul-de-sac is them ascending out of purgatory, and that beating Eddie's brother is like the devil or whatever?
I really don't know. Actually, I didn't.
'Cause that's how I remember that theory ending.
I don't know. I probably didn't find all the content that exists for this series, but yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that one's not supposed to be taken too seriously. Seems like more of a fun thought experiment than anything. But yeah, that's the purgatory theory. Yeah, and we're at the 40-minute mark, actually. I think we should probably go ahead and take a quick ad break.
Oh, okay, sure.
All right.
Whatever. This is going to be a longer episode anyways. We've got so many of these.
Oh, it totally is. But
I don't mind.
Yeah.
And we haven't recorded in 3 weeks, so I do not mind if this ends up being a long episode.
Yeah, and I'm cool with that too. But yeah. All right. Ad break.
Ad break.
Oh, wait. Whoops. Wrong button. Ad break.
Booberry? I know, you see, sometimes the world just changed for me and be so wonderful. Wait, is this the wrong show?
I think it is. Welcome back.
Oh, hi. Okay, here's something I have pulled up on the Reddit. It's funny because it was later retroactively established to be true. I hate the Peter Parker is the kid in Iron Man 2 theory. And it's like, ha!
Well, I mean, that totally wasn't what they were probably planning in the first. I think
they retroactively established it.
I'm pretty sure that was just them like throwing a bone to the fans that said that.
I don't know, it doesn't contradict anything.
No, it doesn't. But also, there's a very, very dark. This isn't actually a theory on my list, but I was just reminded of it. There's a theory that maybe the reason, so they never actually told us how Peter Parker's parents died in the MCU. So there's a theory that maybe they were killed by the robots in Iron Man 2. And that's why he was there trying to fight the robots. I don't know.
I don't think we need to make everything needlessly dark.
Yeah, I don't think we do either. I think it's perfectly fine how it is.
There's another category of theories that I don't like is when it's like, hey, what if this cute and innocent kid show was actually an allegory for the Holocaust? Like this theory, which says that the Toy Story 3 is actually about the Holocaust.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard that one. It's not on my list.
Because they go to a camp and there's a big fire.
Well, they get put in a camp.
And that's basically it.
Oh yeah, because they almost get burned. Yeah, jeez.
Therefore, the Holocaust.
Yeah, sure.
Wile E. Coyote is in hell. I've heard that one a lot too.
I mean, that one actually makes sense though.
No, it doesn't. It's a slapstick cartoon.
Oh, I know. He may not actually be in hell, but he's definitely in a figurative hell.
Yeah, he's just running through a desert landscape over and over again. It's like
maybe that's just what an actual desert looks like.
Oh, here's one. Also, the Smurfs are anti-Semitic racists, apparently.
I have heard that one as well.
Yeah, which is basically based off of the fact that in an old story from the 40s that doesn't even seem like it was intended to be racist, when they got sick, they turned from blue to black, their skin, and they got really unintelligent and irritable. And it's like, I think you might be reading into that one a bit too much.
All right, should we get back to our lists?
I am going off of my list.
Wait, this is your list?
This is one of my lists. I have many.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, here's one. What do you think about this one? Mr. Krabs is apparently planning to use his daughter for Krabby Patties. The theory being based on the fact that when a whale dies, that its carcass can fuel an entire ecosystem for a long time, and that Pearl doesn't seem to have a mother. So how did Mr. Krabs get Pearl?
Pretty sure she was adopted. That's always what I've assumed.
Yeah, he killed her mother to make Krabby Patties, and is now fattening her up to make more Krabby Patties. That's the secret.
That's awful. But
yeah, you see what I mean? I don't like these theories.
No, that's a bad theory. Yeah, that's not a good theory. I do. That kind of segues perfectly into one of the ones on my list, though.
Oh yeah, and then the next one on this list is the Ed, Edd and Eddy are in purgatory one.
Oh yeah, I knew there'd be some overlap. But yeah, that segues perfectly to Krabby Patty, the Krabby Patty secret ingredient. Okay, well actually I got two theories here. One of them actually makes a lot of sense. The other one doesn't. The one that actually makes sense is that there is no secret ingredient to the Krabby Patty, and it's just a guerrilla marketing tactic, which I could totally believe that, except I'm pretty sure there is pretty well established in the show that there is a real ingredient. But I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, and also King Neptune couldn't make them with his magic.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, because
and also in the episode Friend or Foe, we saw that they first time they made it, it tasted horrible, and then a bunch of stuff fell into it, and then it tasted delicious.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think the continuity kind of contradicts itself a bit, though, a few times around that. I don't know for sure. But the other theory is that the Krabby Patty secret ingredient is actually crab meat, and that Mr. Krabs is killing other crabs and using them to make his burgers. I think, I haven't researched this thoroughly, but I think the reason this theory exists is that there actually was at one point a recipe on Nick.com for Krabby Patties, and it included either crab meat or imitation crab meat. But obviously,
I remember hearing something about that.
Yeah, but if you actually read the recipe, it's very obvious they're not telling you how to make a show-accurate Krabby Patty. They're just telling you how to make a fun recipe that is loosely themed around, the Krabby Patty. Because the one in the recipe, I don't even think it was a sandwich kind of deal. It was more like a crab cake.
I mean, I guess it would have to be, because it's like, what's the formula for my ground beef patty? And it's would it be ground beef?
Well, I mean, Binging with Babish did an episode about the Krabby Patty, and he had the theory that it was nothing. I think that's actually where I heard that theory originally. But also his other theory was it's MSG or some undersea equivalent, because that's what we put in food in real life to make it taste really good.
Yes, ordinary water laced with LSD.
I said MSG, not LSD.
I know, but it reminded me of that joke.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, who's next?
It's just ordinary water. No secret ingredient at all.
Do you want to give one of your theories, or should I go on another one of mine?
Here's a stupid one that apparently was confirmed by the creative director. So, have you ever... People complain about Cars because they're like, the world doesn't make any sense. And it's it's a world of cars. Just move past it. And now apparently it's confirmed as canon that the world of Cars used to have humans in it, but then the cars overthrew them, and that also the cars take on the personality of the last person who drove them. And it's that just opens up so many more questions.
The creator... Okay, wait. When you say that this is...
The creative director.
When you say this is canon, do you mean he just made some sort of Twitter post about it?
Apparently he confirmed the theory.
Yeah, that needs to be qualified.
But, I don't know how much authority he has to confirm it.
Yeah, that, and also... that needs to really be qualified. How he confirmed it tells a ton there. Whether he meant to actually be taken seriously or not. Because, of course, journalists are going to take that and run with it.
It's a stupid theory.
Well, it is, yeah.
It's that's just stupid. That just raises so many more questions. I have a much more easier time accepting world of Cars and then not thinking about it too much than, it used to have people in it, but then the cars overthrew. It's what? That's then dumb. Why is everything car-shaped?
Oh, my God. There is one, though, that... a Cars theory. So I guess in the movie Planes, which takes place in the same universe as Cars, one of the characters is a World War II veteran.
Sucks.
Yeah, I'm sure I've heard it's a bad movie, but one of the characters is a World War II veteran. So he's he's a fighter plane from World War II.
There must be a Cars Holocaust.
Yeah, so that implies that World War II happened in the Cars universe, which implies there is in fact, a Cars Holocaust and a Cars Hitler. There was a car Hitler in somewhere in the car universe that happened.
I wonder what model of car he was.
Probably a Volkswagen.
And he's got a grill that looks like the Hitler stash.
God, someone please draw that if they haven't already.
Someone probably had. Look here.
Just look up car Hitler.
Look up Hitler car, or should I look up Hitler car?
Let's just.
Who wants to look that up on their search history?
I'm just gonna use incognito mode for that, but yeah, I'm gonna look it up right now.
All right, see if there's anything.
Incognito mode. Let's see. Oh, dang it. Cars Hitler. Yep, there he is. This one, he is a... Pretty sure that's a Bentley. Hitler car. Oh my gosh.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's about what you expect. Moving on.
Oh, wait, I just remembered the other broad category of theories I hate. That everything that the world is somehow post-apocalyptic, as if people can't conceive of a world where humans weren't the starting point. They're always like, well, there used to be people, but then they all died or whatever, and then this world happened. And it's like, why can't you just accept that the premise is that this world is just the world? Why is it that you can't conceive of a world where humans didn't start out?
Well, I mean, also the number of times that theory has turned out to be true is not zero. So, I mean, there's some merit to it sometimes.
I guess. I mean, I remember when post-apocalyptic Earth was just a theory for Adventure Time.
Yeah, apparently that's canon. I don't know. I haven't actually finished the show.
Yeah, it's like there. At this point, it's like it's pretty well known detail of the plot. I just remember that there was like a time when people were like the wild theories, and it's like, oh, what if he's just in a coma? Oh, what if it's actually a post-apocalyptic Earth? And it's like, that's funny.
Yeah.
That used to just be a theory.
All right, who's next?
Well, let's see. What's the one I have?
Actually, I've got a good one to
Winnie the Pooh
segue.
theory.
I've got a good one to segue off of the Cars thing.
Okay, what's yours?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a big one. It's the Pixar theory. And
No!
What do you mean no?
I hate that theory.
Well, then that's why we're
It's
talking
so
about
stupid.
That's why we're talking about it in this episode, isn't it?
Ah!
So,
Fine.
I think this is I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there are people that believe this is true, but it's also like
Hate it. Dumb.
I don't know. I don't know what to say about this one. I guess just defer back to our disclaimer at the beginning.
Dumb.
Yeah, it is kind of it's dumb if you try to actually take it seriously, but it is kind of fun to think about.
One of the broad categories of theory, trying to say that X movie is actually Y movie. That's all the Pixar theory is.
Yeah, well,
and it gets more convoluted every time a new movie comes out.
Well, the one I looked at was like very out of date. It didn't include like I don't know how you'd fit movies like Onward into this like list at all. But I'll give you what I got. Let's go through it. It's a very, very brief version of it. But yeah, basically, yeah, that's the gist of it. All the movies in Pixar and all the Pixar movies take place in the same universe across the same timeline. It all starts with Brave, which takes place, in like the 13th or 14th century or whatever. There's magic in Brave that the witch has, and that leads to like animals and objects becoming human-like. So you have like intelligent animals, and then that's also what leads to the toys in Toy Story is the magic. And then that magic also creates superheroes, which leads to Incredibles. And then in Incredibles, Syndrome creates robots that create AI and also 0-point energy, which I guess, like, I think that was the thing he used to levitate stuff. But apparently that's also, according to this theory, what powers the toys in Toy Story and makes them alive. They use 0-point energy from Incredibles, but then they discover they can use human love for energy instead, which I think connects back to Monsters, Inc. and how they use like human fear or laughter as energy. I think it's like the toys. It's the same idea.
It's like, what do you get out of this? It's like, is the story made better if it turns out that everything is connected? It's like people are trying to get one over the author. They're like, I figured it out. It's like, you're a dumb.
I think this one really, I imagine this one was done just for fun. I don't know that this is supposed to
make it better. This is what I hate about connecting theories. It's like, what's the point of connecting it? It doesn't make anything better.
I think they're just having fun with it. I don't think it's supposed to be taken seriously, but I could be wrong. Maybe the creator really does believe this is what the creators had in mind the whole time. It's probably not.
I don't know.
Very
it's
obviously.
Like that one theory that's like, oh, all the Marvel movies are actually just spelling out Thanos or something like that.
I don't know.
I don't remember how that one goes. Hold on. You keep reading off the Pixar theory. I have to go find the Thanos theory.
Yeah, so anyways, the toys start using human love for energy, and then Finding Nemo happens, and I guess the fish in Finding Nemo are the results of experiments and pollution apparently is part of this. Toys start hating humans because they throw them away. I think there's like a theme that like toys and animals and robots all start to hate humans because they throw them away or something. And then, the dogs in Up apparently are like the precursor to a war that happens between humans and animals. This is where I don't know where there's any evidence for this, but basically, apparently there was a huge war between.
Not any evidence for any of it.
I don't know how they came up with this, but apparently the humans and animals all ended up going to war over pollution. The animals hated the humans because they were polluting the earth, and so the animals rose up and fought them.
Is this how Zootopia happens?
I don't know. Zootopia, I don't think was a Pixar movie. Was it?
Is it not?
I don't actually remember. It might have just been a Disney animation one. It's not part of this list, though. But But yeah, the humans ended up winning the war, but only with the help of the machines. But then the humans had to leave the Earth in the ship from Wall-E because of how messed up the world was. The machines that are left have to clean up and populate the world, and that leads to cars. So yeah, there you go. Humans exist in the Cars world, but now they're just the robots left behind. The machines eventually use up all the resources, and then that's when like the world gets all decrepit and destroyed, like in Wall-E. Also, Wall-E is Robot Jesus, and I will not elaborate on that. The tree in A Bug's Life is actually the tree that was planted at the end of Wall-E. And then the radiation on the planet left over from, everything that's happened leads to the animals evolving into the monsters. Like all the bugs and animals on Earth evolve into the monsters from humans, or that evolve into the monsters from Monsters, Inc. And apparently those monsters wipe out the humans. And apparently it was an accident. I don't even know that one. That was just on the website.
I mean, you have to know, right? You have to know how dumb all of this sounds.
I know it sounds dumb. That's why I know it's not true, but I don't know. I'm kind of giving the author the benefit of the doubt and saying they probably just wrote this as a fun thought experiment and didn't want it to actually, didn't think it should actually be. I don't think the creator of this actually thought this is what the creators of the movies had in mind, but as that, it's kind of a fun way to think about it. But yeah, basically then the monsters are actually, monsters are basically their far future human society, or post-human society, and the doors are actually time machines that lead back to the human time, not to a different world like they say in the movie. They power their world with, the energy that the toys used, basically. And Boo, the little girl from Monsters, Inc., is actually the witch from Brave. She time travels back through a door and the whole thing starts over again.
What?
It's all a big cycle. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, she time travels back and somehow...
How does Cars fit into this?
You must have been not paying
Cars
attention.
the future?
Yeah, Cars is...
I think I lost track at some point in the middle there.
Yeah, so somewhere between like Up and Monsters, Inc., basically. There was the big animal war, and then that made it so humans had to leave the Earth, and all the robots they left behind turned into the cars from Cars.
That Wall-E?
Well, no,
the Wall-E happens.
Yeah, well, that does happen later. But yeah, they leave the Earth in the Axiom from Wall-E.
Okay.
They leave behind all their robots.
Even though the Earth, even though the Earth that is clearly not the same Earth in Cars as it is in Wall-E.
No, I explained that part.
We're gonna say that's the same Earth.
No, I explained that part. The theory explains that part, anyways. Yeah, the humans leave the Earth after the war because the Earth is all messed up. But then the machines left behind basically create their own society, and that's how we get Cars. But then, I guess in Cars 2, they kind of hinted at gasoline and renewable energy and all that, which implies that they have a resource crisis too. So going off of that, they basically say that the Cars then had the same problem as humans and used up all the resources.
But the humans come back to the Earth at the end of Wall-E.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, that's explained. That's explained too. it's
come on.
They explain everything. They just don't necessarily do it well.
It's clearly the same Earth that they left. They didn't come back. So you're saying that the robots, in the time that they left, went through a resource crisis, had the world of Cars, then collapsed, and then somehow looked exactly the same as when the humans left. So when they got back, it seemed like nothing had happened.
Basically, yeah.
What?
I don't know. And then the monsters rise up and wipe everyone out, and yeah, there you go. That's the Pixar theory.
Where
everybody.
do the monsters come from?
They were. Yeah, you must have been zoned out at that part too, because
I don't know. I can already feel this theory slipping away from my brain.
Yes, I did kind of just shoot it at you rapid fire, so I'm not surprised it didn't stick. But yeah, no, the monsters. So the monsters are the evolved bugs and animals on Earth because there's a bunch of leftover radiation from all the exploitation of the Earth the humans did, and that's what caused them all to evolve into monsters and wipe out the humans and take over. That's Pixar theory. We're moving on.
Scooby-Doo was set during an economic depression. You ever heard this one before?
I think I have, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, the idea that the original Scooby-Doo, it's like, why are all these people resorting to dressing up as ghosts? Why does it seem like everything is all scant? Why are they trying to steal away to the top? Is that there was a economic depression, and that's why.
It's like, cool. Yeah, maybe.
Here's the better one. The Mystery Inc. kids are actually avoiding being drafted by driving into Canada. Due to the fact that it's 4 teens in a van during the 60s driving around when the Vietnam War happened in 1969, the same year as the show. It totally makes sense.
It does. Another Scooby-Doo theory
They're avoiding being drafted by driving away to Canada.
There's another theory that I actually kind of like a little. I mean, I like it because then it kind of gets confirmed later too. more or less. The theory is that basically the supernatural
Wait,
stuff.
is this a spoiler one?
No, it's not a spoiler.
Oh, okay.
Not really. I mean,
I thought you were going to talk about the other one.
I don't know what other one you're talking about, but no, basically the theory is that like, so yeah, all the people we see in like the original Scooby-Doo show, like they are just people in masks and stuff. But the idea is that in the universe of Scooby-Doo, supernatural stuff actually does exist and is confirmed, and that's basically the reason why these scams work. Because like,
well, I mean, it does exist though.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Zombie Island, 13 Ghosts.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This one actually is kind of confirmed later by the fact that like Zombie Island, real supernatural stuff happens in that one until it doesn't, I guess.
Oh, right, because
Yeah.
of friggin' Return to Zombie Island.
But that's my point. It's kind of confirmed. Yeah, supernatural stuff does happen later, except, I don't know, except the characters are taken just as aback by it as everyone else. But that's the whole idea, is that supernatural stuff actually does exist in the world of Scooby-Doo, and that's why people fall for the scams, because this is stuff that actually is real in the world, and just in those cases, it was someone in a costume.
Uh-huh.
I think it's kind of a fun theory.
Here's one that you've heard before, and it's based off of one strip back from the 80s. Garfield is actually dying of starvation and imagining John and Odie. Do you know why this theory exists?
No, I
Do you
don't,
remember?
actually.
So there was a storyline of strips back in 1980 where Garfield suddenly wakes up, the house is abandoned, and he's completely alone. And then it's actually creepy. But then at the very end, he like wakes up from it or whatever and sees John and Odie. So now everyone's taking this to mean that the entire time he's just an abandoned house cat who's been starving to death in a house, and that he's been imagining John and Odie the whole time.
So they're basically saying that his nightmare was the real world.
Yes, exactly.
That's awful.
Yep. Anyways, but here's one that I hate because I can definitively prove it to be false. You've probably heard this one before. You know Pinky and the Brain?
Yeah, the one, is this the theory?
You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, is this the theory that Pinky's actually the smart one?
Yeah. So here's what they always say. They're like, the theme song, it just says one is a genius, the other's insane. It doesn't actually specify which one.
Well, it's 'cause
except that one,
Yeah, well,
it says
Pinky and
one
the
is a
Brain.
genius while showing Brain on screen, then says the other's insane as Pinky hops by in a straitjacket.
Yeah, no.
So, I mean,
it's pretty
but
obvious.
I have stronger evidence than that.
Yeah.
So, the idea that Brain is actually stupid, well, I mean, it's a comedy show, so I mean, obviously a lot of his plans are harebrained schemes that there's no way it could work if it weren't not for the fact that the world is shown on many occasions to be incredibly stupid, and so these plans very well could work. And that Pinky always points out the flaw, some flaw that Brain usually has too much hubris to acknowledge. But this is why I know for a fact that this theory is completely false. There is one episode called the Pinky POV. The entire episode is from a first-person perspective from Pinky watching Brain go through his plan as we are privy to his entire thoughts and internal monologue. And I can say definitively that, like, it shows how, you know how every time he's like, are you pondering and I'm pondering, and then a Pinky fires off a complete non sequitur?
Yeah.
It shows exactly how he comes up with those non sequiturs. Basically just starts thinking about random crap that then morphs into something, and then he says the last sentence of whatever he was thinking. So you can see through this episode that Pinky is not smart. He's not doing any like weird. He's not just keeping quiet and playing dumb. He just actually is that dumb. And the entire episode is from his perspective, from his brain, where you get to hear his thoughts for the whole thing. So that episode firmly shoots down this theory once and for all. Nemo doesn't exist in Finding Nemo. He's just a fragment of Marlin's imagination to help him cope with his wife's death. Except for the fact that most of the movie takes place from Nemo's perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Here I've got one. You're probably familiar with this one as well.
Charlie Brown is dying of cancer.
Just because he's
We
bald.
know that one.
Just because he's bald.
Yeah, basically. He's bald and the kids are mean. Next theory. What's yours?
So yeah, this one's not even as much a theory as it's just like an observation. It's the Tommy Westphall universe. I know you're familiar with this one, right?
What now?
The Tommy Westphall universe. Okay, so basically,
which one's Tommy West?
So basically it was a TV show called Saint Elsewhere about a hospital.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Gosh dang it.
So this is a case where it all ended. Do we need a spoiler banner for this one?
No, everyone
yeah.
knows this one.
Oh, yeah, or
This
if they don't, I
This
don't.
theory's been out.
I just mean
Here,
like,
you know what? If you don't want to know about St. Elsewhere, leave now. It's
yeah,
a TV show from like the 80s or something.
yeah, I'm not gonna worry about the spoiler banner, but yeah, this is one case where the ending turns out to be it really was all just a dream. Apparently, at the end of the last episode of the show, they revealed that the entire show actually took place inside of the mind of one of the characters named Tommy Westfall.
Yeah, an autistic child with a snow globe.
Yeah, so and like the hospital was inside of his snow globe, and the whole thing was in his head.
First of all, I cannot fathom why they thought that's a good ending.
I don't know. Maybe they got canceled early and just wanted to give the network the finger on the way out or something. I don't know.
It's just, this is, first of all, this is another one of those things where like they're taking the theory too literally. They're like, oh, well, this show had crossovers. That means they must be fictional too. And
well, yeah,
like,
no,
gosh,
that's why I don't think this is an actual theory. I think this is entirely done for comedic effect. But yeah, basically this was done in the era of television where everything crossed over with everything. Yeah. So that led to then, okay, well, if this all took place in Tommy Westfall's universe, then all these shows that cross over with St. Elsewhere also took place in his universe, or in his head. And then those shows all crossed over with other shows. Long story short, there's a list of 419 shows that all supposedly take place inside of Tommy Westfall's head. I will now read from that list.
Oh boy, here we go.
Wait, I got to pull it back up. I had to restart my computer.
Doogie Howser, MD on there.
Here we go. The master list. Yeah, there's an entire website for this. The Tommy Westfall.
I know.
Yeah, WordPress
I haven't been
stuff.
there in a while.
Yeah. Anyways, the master list. So I'm just gonna pull randomly. Let's see. The show 24 that aired from 2001 to 2014.
Sorry, why is 24 on there?
I don't know. It doesn't actually give the full. If you want to dive into these, you can look it up, and I'm sure it'll like there. Oh yeah, there's a whole chart
is like
here.
Bacon numbers taken to the extreme.
Yeah, here. You know what? Let's just. I'm gonna look at it has this whole flow chart deal that kind of shows you. If I can figure out how to get a bigger picture of it.
Carl was mean to Russell because this takes place during a time when there was a mistrust of Asian Americans, so he's racist.
Here we go. I found it. So here, let's see. We start with, oh shoot. Oh yeah, here we go. So it starts with, okay, well here, before I do this, I'm going to go ahead and just give a few of the other shows that are on this, just for an example. 90210. Alf. Arrow. Arrow is on there.
There's Arrow on there.
I don't know.
These are shows that came out after the show was...
Oh, I know. But, yeah, I don't know. Breaking Bad is in the Westfall universe. I'm pretty sure a few of the Star Trek shows are also in there. Let me find them. Let's see.
It's just like trying to connect everything just cheapens each individual story.
Yeah, every version of Star Trek, or Star Trek through Star Trek Voyager all exist in the Tommy Westfall universe. Stargate does as well.
But why?
Twin Peaks, 2.5 Men, Walking
I
Dead.
Know why these things are apparently Westfall. How did they cross over?
Yeah,
Where's
there's a flow chart here. So let's see. Let's just start with. I'm gonna pick one. Yeah, I'm gonna pick one. I'm trying to find.
Start with The Walking Dead. How does that one connect?
I don't even know how. That's the problem. I gotta find it on this chart to see. Oh, here, you know what? No, here, I got a better one. We're going to start with Corey in the House.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Corey in the House, it crossed over with That's So Raven, which crossed over with The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, which continues from Sweet Life on Deck, which crossed over with Jesse, which crossed over with a few other shows. Basically, those all connect to Boy Meets World, which connects to Step by Step, which connects to Family Matters, which connects to... Oh, wait, no, I'm going the wrong direction. Sorry. It goes from Jesse to I Didn't Do It, and Austin and Ally, then Girl Meets World, then Boy Meets World. Oh yeah, so Girl Meets World was a spinoff of Boy Meets World, which crosses over with Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which crossed over with the show Clueless, which crossed over with Moesha, don't even know what that is, crossed over with the Parkers, which crossed over with the Hewleys, which crossed over with the Drew Carey Show, which crossed over with Coach, which crossed over with Newhart, which crossed over with the Bob Newhart Show, which crossed over with Homicide: Life on the Line, which crossed over with the X-Files, which crossed over with Veronica... Wait. Oh, geez, I can't even figure out where the end of this list is. Oh, my goodness, this is so hard to follow. Yeah, where even is St. Elsewhere on this list?
Is it in the center?
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, no, which crossed over with... Okay, no, so it stopped. The Bob Newhart show crossed over St. Elsewhere. So there you go.
Okay, sure, whatever.
Oh, my God.
Hey, did you know that Madame Foster and Frankie might be the same person, and that Madame Foster imagined a younger version of herself to clean the house? And this is based on the fact that they wear very similar outfits.
Or it could just be that they're related.
No, they both wear a green jacket, a purple skirt, and a white shirt.
Yeah. I don't know.
Therefore, they're related. It's imaginary.
Did you know that all the characters in Winnie the Pooh represent different different mental disorders?
Yep, I've heard that one
Yeah,
a
I'm sure
lot.
you have.
It's just another subset of the everything is actually in his imagination kind of theories.
Yeah, I mean, they get pretty specific with it, though. I mean, like, Eeyore is obviously depression. Rabbit is OCD. Winnie the Pooh is, like, binge eating disorder, I think.
All right, so
I don't remember.
I found the Thanos theory. This is the idea that all of the Infinity Stones were actually spelling out the name Thanos. I don't know why this is a theory, but here's why. The Tesseract, that's a T. And then the Aether, the Reality Stone, well, that's an A. And then the Time Stone, well, it's a necklace. The Eye of Agamotto, it's a necklace, so that's the N. And then the Power Stone, well, it's an orb, so that's O. And then the Mind Stone is Spectre, so that's an S. I don't know where Spectre comes from. The only one then there's just H.
No, it was Scepter. It was inside of Loki's scepter.
Oh, Scepter, that's right. And then H is just H.
H.
Well, obviously this is disproved when the last Avengers movie came out.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so anyways, that
really
everyone
disproven? I mean, that wasn't really
people
a thing.
were running with that for years. No, because you have to call the Time Stone is the necklace. It's like it was never
They never once even said necklace in that.
I know, it's the Eye of Agamotto.
Yeah.
It's just a stupid theory. Guys, the stones spell out Thanos' name. It's like why?
So what? Why does that matter?
See, there's so many theories. It's like they don't even matter in the long run.
Yeah.
Snow White is about cocaine and addiction.
I don't even want to dive into that one. Oh, here's one.
Her name, Snow White. It sounds like the drug. And then the dwarves are named of personalities, which symbolizes the stages of cocaine addiction and withdrawal. And then she goes to the deep sleep at the end. That's the drug coma. And then Prince Charming brings her out of the drug coma. And that's the theory. Also, Ash is in a coma. That's why he never ages.
Yeah. I've got that one too. Yeah, apparently in episode 1, there's a scene in episode 1 where like Pikachu uses a thunderbolt on a huge like flock of Pidgeys or something that are attacking them, and apparently the theory is that incident puts Ash into a coma, and the rest of the show is all in his head, and that's why he goes on to become like the Pokemon champion and all that stuff, and how he can still be 10 after 40 years.
Or the show just takes place over a short time span, relatively speaking. Or it's drawn in an anime style where the characters don't look very old anyways.
No, they outright say he's 10. Like, in every single one of the shows, they pretty much outright say he's 10. And I would say at this point, way too much has happened for it to still, like... Way too much time has passed on screen for him to still be 10. I think it's just a case of...
Batman is still in his 30s, and he's been in his 30s fighting crime in Gotham for 70 years, and yet everything still seems to have happened within 10 years or so.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Have you ever heard... Do these writers know about the concept of the floating timeline?
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. It's like, way too much has happened for him to actually still be 10, but that's following real life rules. It's obviously not... It's obviously, like, not that. It's a floating continuity, or floating timeline, or however you put it. Here's one. This is one I've actually already mentioned before, but I kind of wanted to dive back into it because I have some more information on it now. The kid in the Polar Express is the same person as the conductor.
Oh, right, that one again.
Yeah, so I actually did believe this one kind of more or less, but once I learned more about the actual production of that movie, it was originally pitched as a one-man show. Originally, Tom Hanks was supposed to play every single part and do the motion capture for every single part, but they pretty quickly found that was way too much workload for him, so they brought in a few other people to work on it. So with going into it with that, it's like, obviously that's why the conductor and the kid and the narrator are all the same person. It's because it's part of that whole...
And the hobo.
Yeah, and the hobo. It's all because it's Tom Hanks, doing the one-man show deal. So yeah, no, I don't think that's actually what the creators have in mind. I still think it's kind of a fun theory.
Why was he going to be the kid? Like, obviously he doesn't sound like a kid.
I don't know if he was originally going to do the voices for everybody.
I mean, he
really
did the motion capture of the kid. I know that.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know why.
I don't know, because I mean, I highly doubt they were going to have him do the voice for the little girl either.
Just Tom Hanks.
Although I would love to see that. I would love to see the version of that movie where he did every
Santa
voice.
Claus.
Oh yeah, and he was Santa Claus. So yeah, with all that
He's
in
a lot
mind,
of characters in that movie.
Yeah, and I doubt that all the characters. Yeah, no, so I definitely didn't think all the characters he voiced were supposed to be the same person. I just thought
Guys,
that one kind of made sense a little bit.
Futterman, he's played by the same actor. That means they're the same person. Don't you know how TV works?
Yeah, that doesn't work when voice acting though.
There's a lot of theories that are like that.
Yeah, no, say like with voice acting, like I've always said, you have to separate the person from the voice in voice acting. Like when someone voice acts a part, it's like, yeah, like there's shows like Simpsons. One actor does multiple voices in the Simpsons. All
right. Okay,
anyways,
you know what?
on.
Now's a good time. Hey, tell me something.
Yeah.
Would it be too much work to put the I discovered an item music from Legend of Zelda into the podcast at this moment?
I can do it.
If yes, just say yes.
Sure, I can. I'll do my best.
No. If it's too much work, just don't bother.
I'll figure it out. I can do it. I just got to put down the time when. Okay, when do you want it to happen?
Start the music right now as you're pulling up that photo that I put in the drive.
Okay. I'll start it here. I just need to make a note of when to put it in post. Starting it right. Oh, actually, wait. You know what? I can do it real time. We'll just do it real time. Distract them for a minute while I pull up the audio.
Hey, everybody out there, go watch Centaur World. It's really good.
Oh, yeah. Stay tuned for an episode on that one.
Yeah, but seriously, though, go watch Centaur World. You're going to look at me and you're going to be like, what in the hell have you gotten me into?
Oh
but
gosh,
trust me. It's super good.
Yeah,
the music is excellent. The writing is fantastic. The animation is fluid and expressive. The themes really well realized.
Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite shows now. I was going to give this whole spiel at the start of our actual Centaur World episode, but I guess I'll just say it now. Give the show a chance. Like, I never would have watched it if Mingus hadn't given it a solid recommendation, and I trust him to recommend good shows. So I took a chance on it. It's one of my favorite shows now. Yeah, give it a chance. Give it a chance, even before you watch your episode. We're probably going to spoil it in our episode. Watch it before you watch our episode. Even if you don't think you would like it, give it a chance, because the less you know about that show going into it, the better.
Yeah.
Anyways, I found the music.
Which is now great, because I can finally put Centaur World clips into our playlist. I've been holding off on that.
All right, here we go.
Finally put... Okay, so you got the image ready?
Yep. All right, cue in the music.
All right, so... Imagine that the music is happening right now.
No, it is actually going to be happening right now. All right. I think it worked. I think it went beautifully. The picture's up on screen now. Yep. I did the music.
Take a look at that.
Yeah.
It's a new theory.
I think that's enough said. I don't even think we need to go into it.
I mean, as you can clearly see, the evidence.
Yeah.
It's pretty astounding. I mean, I don't see any problem with this if you don't.
Nope. I think we don't even need to say it. I think we all know what's happening here.
I mean, can you imagine if people are like listening to this on their off time? They're just gonna hear this, and then they're gonna have to rewind.
All right.
Star Wars theory. I'll leave it at that.
Yep, Star Wars.
For those of you who weren't watching the actual video.
Yeah.
All right,
taking the minutes down.
Okay, hold on. I need to go get some clear American brand sparkling water.
Oh man, do we need to take 2 ad breaks? No? All right, we'll just keep going. Up next, what do we got next? I guess I'll give this one. Doofenshmirtz
is actually...
Oh, I was just about to say my next theory. Doofenshmirtz is actually Phineas's dad.
No, the creators shot that one down.
No, I'm not. Yeah, no, I'm just talking about what the theory is. But yeah, no, this one hinges
on entirely on the idea that they both have triangle heads.
No,
related.
Actually, there's a little more to it than that. So, what was I gonna say?
Delicious.
Clear American or whatever it's called. Yeah,
black cherry flavor. Sponsor us. Hey, give us a call.
It's pretty good. But yeah, no. So it is confirmed in the show that Phineas and Ferb are not actually related. They're stepbrothers. They both came from previous relationships. Yeah, they're a blended family. They came from previous relationships. Well, it's also confirmed that their mom used to be the pop star Lynn Donna, and there's an episode where Doofenshmirtz goes on a date with Lindana in the past.
Yeah.
So it's
They
confirmed.
went on one date though.
As far as we know, yeah, probably. But yeah, it's basically
Not
confirmed.
probably, that's what they say.
Yeah, so it's confirmed that Doofenshmirtz did date their mom at one point, and I guess that's where they're saying that he is Phineas's biological father. And yeah, they both have triangle heads. There you go. As far as fan theories go, that one's not too far out there, even though it is outright disproven by the creators. But here's one that is way too far out there. It's all in Candace's head, and Phineas is actually dead.
Oh, okay. See, once again. What if everyone's actually dead and they're in hell?
Yeah,
It's all their imagination.
oh my gosh. I'm actually gonna have to pull up the page. I don't even remember enough about this one but
Probably doesn't matter.
It
It's
really
probably just a
doesn't
bunch
matter.
of really out of context screen clips.
Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Phineas and Ferb theory. Let's see. Oh, yeah, well, there's the real dad theory that Doofendaddy is Phineas's biological father, is how it's written. The imagination theory.
There's also the theory that Toby was the Scranton Strangler all along.
Huh.
Except for the episode where he goes to see the Scranton Strangler in prison and then gets strangled. No, he strangled himself.
I have an office theory as well that apparently Kevin was actually a genius the whole time.
No.
He was just faking the stupidness or for some reason. I don't know the whole deal, but yeah, no.
Is the evidence because he can make really good chili?
No, I don't think so. I think it was. Doesn't he
'Cause
end
I
up
mean,
starting
it's
a
like-
business at the end or something? Like starts a
Buys
bar.
a bar.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, yeah, you can be good at a different thing that's not accounting.
I don't know. There was more detail than that. But yeah, no. Here's the Phineas being dead one. Basically, her Phineas was killed by a bully, and then Candace couldn't deal with his death, so she made an imaginary world where he's still alive and plays with her stepbrother Ferb. She imagines them going on adventures together, and the reason that her mom can't actually see anything they build is that they aren't really there at all. And Doofenshmirtz is actually Candace's psychologist. And I think I'm just going to stop there.
Even though Doofenshmirtz literally never interacts with any of the characters in most of the episodes.
Yeah, I really don't know.
Let me think. He interacts with Buford in one episode, and then I think they interact in the movies briefly, but their memories are erased of that. And that's about it. He basically exclusively interacts with Perry the Platypus.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I totally meant to bring this up
Here's
earlier.
the real theory. Doofenshmirtz has face blindness.
He can't. Oh, is that why he can't recognize Phineas? He doesn't recognize Perry without his hat.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Except no one else does either. Right? No, wait, no. I guess maybe that's not true. But yeah, no. Anyways, I meant to bring this up earlier when we were on the topic of Fairly Odd Parents, but this is actually the theory that inspired this entire episode.
All right.
Fairly Odd Parents, Cosmo and Wanda are actually antidepressants. Cosmo represents Zoloft, Wanda is Prozac. They came into his life when, Timmy was at his all-time low. They use their magic to make things better. If he abuses their magic, things go wrong. And then I've heard two versions of this. Either Crocker used to be on antidepressants as well and wants them back, and that's why he obsesses about fairies, or he is actually Timmy's therapist trying to get him off of antidepressants. Yeah, and I guess their personalities kind of feed into it as well. Like, I guess Cosmo kind of represents what someone on Zoloft is supposed to be like, and Wanda is what someone on Prozac is supposed to be like. I don't think that's actually true. I'm pretty sure they have similar effects. And as a bonus, other characters in the show are also drugs. Jorgen represents steroids. Wandissimo is Viagra.
Wait. 10.
What?
Why would he be around Viagra?
What, Wandissimo?
Yeah.
What you
No, Timmy. Why is Timmy around Viagra? He's 10.
I have no idea. I don't think they thought it through to that
Timmy
extent.
is an average kid that no one understands. All right,
right,
I still don't know all the lyrics to that theme song, despite having heard it for like
What,
years.
Mom and Dad and Vicky always giving in demands. Isn't it like
No, it's the later part of the song that I never got down.
doom and gloom up in his room? And then
No. The part where he's just rattling off things.
obtuse, rubber goose, green moose, guava juice, giant snake, birthday cake, large fries, chocolate shake.
Does he say large fries? Because it doesn't
Yeah.
sound like it.
No, he does. If you look at what he's actually like, a giant thing of fries appears.
Rhyme.
What do you mean it doesn't rhyme?
Chocolate cake, giant snake, fries.
No,
chocolate shake.
It's obtuse rubber goose, green moose, guava juice, giant snake, birthday cake, large fries, chocolate shake.
That doesn't rhyme though.
It does though. I mean, it sounds good. It's like the A-B-A.
And then there's some other line in there. Fairly Odd Parents. Do believe with Fairly Odd Parents?
Yeah, that's the part I don't know either.
I still don't know what it says. I've never bothered to look it up.
You know what? We're doing this. We're looking up the lyrics. Fairly Odd Parents lyrics.
Hey, I got a theory for it. All right, so actually, Anakin was not the chosen one the whole time, and actually, a Palpatine is going to become the chosen one and negate the original prophecy, and then steal the family name.
Wait, sorry. What? I tuned you out there for a second. What now? What did you just say?
So the Anakin was not actually the chosen one, and actually, a relative of Palpatine is going to become the chosen one and negate the original prophecy, and then steal the family name.
Yeah, that's stupid. Why the hell would they ever do that? We're not even.
Wait.
We're not talking about that. Moving on. Why the hell would they ever do something that stupid?
Yeah, there's no way.
Nobody
that
wants to see that.
Well, I mean, no one did.
Anyways. Oh yeah. Anyway, so it's doom and gloom up in his room is broken instantly by his magical little fish who grants every wish. Because in reality, blah blah blah. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Oh yeah, here we go. Odd. Lawns and wings, floating karate things, odd parents, fairly parents, really mod, pea pod, buff bod, hot rod, obtuse, rubber goose, green moose. Yeah, we already did that part. Oh, okay, here we go. Odd parents, fairly odd parents. It flips your lid when you are a kid with fairly odd parents. There you go.
Oh, is that the one?
Yep, it flips your lid when you are a kid. That makes sense. Okay. Let's see. What else do I have for theories? We did that one. Did that one.
Cowboy Bebop game theory. Spike from Cowboy Bebop is actually Bebop and Rocksteady from Teenage Mutant Turtles.
How about Animal Crossing is actually either purgatory or child slavery, depending on which theory you follow.
Oh boy, dude, have I got a tale for you.
Yeah?
Hold on. I've saved this link from like 10 years ago. I still have it.
Something about Animal Crossing?
Hold on, the Animal Crossing creepypasta that I've had for years.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I don't know if I need to go into this
it better
one.
Still be here.
I mean, the child slavery one.
I got to make sure I archive this.
I mean, the child slavery one's pretty obvious. What now? So what's this creepypasta?
Chewbot. Basically, the Animal Crossing story. It's a narrative. Essentially, I'll give you the gist of it. It's actually all a big conspiracy. Tom Nook used to be a man who turned into an animal. His wife is dying, and he's harvesting organs and body parts to keep her alive from the various crossings.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Anyways, I read this years ago. I finally found it again after a while, and now I've got the link saved.
Cool. But yeah, as for the purgatory one, I think that's kind of self-explanatory. It's a kid who dies, ends up in purgatory where animals and stuff are everywhere. I don't know. There's probably more to it than that. But the child slavery one is actually just part of the game. So
yeah,
pretty much.
It's me, Tom Nook. I've signed you into an unnegotiable contract loan that you'll be paying off for the rest of your life.
Hello, small impressionable child who doesn't even know what a mortgage is. How would you like to have one for the rest of your life? Yeah, that's...
And every time you get close to paying it off, I'll give you more stuff and then charge you for it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was not even a theory. That's just actually part of the game.
All right, you ready for this?
Yes, absolutely. What is it?
Turns out Dumbledore is actually a time-traveling Ron Weasley.
Oh, that makes sense. That explains everything.
Yeah. At some point, Ron goes back in time and then makes sure he sets everything up so that Harry can defeat Voldemort.
Wait, does he do this? Here's why. Does he do this with the weird time turner thing that does it by like...
We don't know. He does something. Here's why. They both are... He describes both Harry, Ron, and Dumbledore as tall, thin, and having a large nose. A long nose.
Nice one.
Dumbledore has long fingers, but Ron has large hands and feet, which means that Ron would also have to have long fingers. then at one point, he sees the younger Dumbledore in the diary, and he's got auburn hair, which means that Dumbledore used to be a redhead. And Dumbledore has blue eyes, but he never says what Ron's color eyes are. But then we know that Arthur Weasley's eye color is, I mean, you can see their eye color in the movies, but whatever. Scar above the left knee is Dumbledore has that. And some other stuff. Dumbledore, here's the big one. You see, Dumbledore says that he doesn't like Bertie Blott's beans because he ate a vomit flavor, but Dumbledore's 150 years old, and he says that he ate it in his youth, and the Bertie Blotts weren't invented until the 50s, and that means that Dumbledore would have been old, so that's why.
All right, then.
He hates the color. Ron makes it clear that he hates the color maroon because eventually he'll be marooned in time. It's foreshadowing. Socks.
I would say
Ron doesn't like the socks. He gives socks to Dobby in the second book. Tonks, they have some magical socks. Dobby has the sock. Hermione makes, and then Draco makes a song, singing it loudly. Born in a bin.
Wait, is this still part of
the
Dumbledore's Ron one?
Yeah.
You've lost me.
He's a time traveling Ron.
I don't know. All I can say is don't let J.K. Rowling hear about that one, or she may just canonize it. Let's move on.
That means Ron is also gay now, I guess. Even though he marries someone.
Yes, it doesn't that kind of break the entire theory, since J.K. Rowling has outright said Dumbledore's gay, and the fact that Ron marries Hermione.
Maybe he's actually bisexual and he gets stranded in time, and then he goes to have hot wizard sex with Grindelwald.
God. Yeah,
that's canon too, you know.
Oh, I know it's canon. Yeah, I know it's canon. We're moving on. How about Majora's Mask is actually the 7 stages of grief?
No.
Apparently, it's. I guess.
Why are so many of these theories? Hey, what if the story was actually a different thing?
Yeah, I don't know exactly. I didn't read everything about this one, but it's something to do with like Link's horse dies in the beginning of the game, and then all the different areas you visit throughout the rest of the game represent the stages of grief or something. I think there's something about how the townspeople refuse to acknowledge the moon about to destroy them as being like denial or something. I don't know. Hey, did you know that the Flintstones and Jetstones actually both exist at the same time?
Did you just say Did you just say the Flintstones and the Jetstones?
Yes, I did, and I will not correct it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've heard that one a lot.
Yeah, no, this is another one
because
where
it's like, oh, they live in the sky. I mean, it was disproven in the crossover episode. They went back in time.
Yeah, no, the theory says that they actually didn't go back in time. That was a teleporter they used, not a time machine.
No, see, that's the part of the theory where it's like you're just ignoring what it actually says, so your theory works.
Yeah,
that's why they suck after a while.
Yeah, but yeah, no.
Here's
the theory
one.
Is that
Jared Leto's Joker. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna explain it a little more. It's basically the Flintstones and the Jetsons both exist in a post-apocalyptic future. Essentially, the poor people are forced to live on the ground as cavemen, while all the rich people got to live in sky cities above all of the destruction, and that's the Jetsons. Yeah, it's dumb because it doesn't explain why dinosaurs exist, unless those are just supposed to be more radioactive mutants, even though that's not how that works. Your turn.
I don't know.
So you say something about Jared Leto?
Yeah, it turns out that he's actually Jason Todd, his Joker in the Suicide Squad movie.
I mean,
the Robin costume has haha, which means he was killed by Joker, but it has bullet holes. But if you look at Jared Leto's Joker, there's some bullet hole marks on his shoulders. Except no, there isn't. There's no corresponding marks.
And who would have
meanwhile,
shot him?
he has a J tattoo under his eye. So the J must refer to Jason, as in Jason Todd. And there's a bird on his tattooed, which means that he must also be Jason Todd. And maybe not that, he killed Jason Todd or anything like that.
Or, because, there's absolutely nothing else that J could stand for. Not even one
I just like
thing.
the other one. Yeah, no. The Max in Fury Road is actually the feral kid.
Yeah,
No.
No.
The answer is no.
It's pretty clear that that's the same. Well, I think
he's got the Hardy's Max, played by Tom Hardy in one movie instead of Mel Gibson. But the feral kid's animalistic, so they're the same person. But he finds a music box and then it proves that he's the feral kid because the Road Warrior, he gives him a music box, except that he doesn't have the music box though. That's the thing.
Also, that's disproven in the end of Road Warrior, where basically, like, the feral kid actually narrates the ending because he does grow up to become like an adult that can talk and everything, and he says that how Max was like, he outright says that like they remember Max as someone that helped them, and now he went on to become like the leader of his tribe or something.
Yeah, but see, they have similar. They must be connected.
Yeah, there's no way. That one. I think the continuity. This is how little Mad Max actually cares about continuity. They reuse actors for different parts deliberately. Like there is I
mean, that's just what things used to do. Like, do you know how many like old TV shows would reuse actors constantly?
Well, no, but let me tell you this: in the Road Warrior, there is a character who drives a gyrocopter. He is the gyro pilot, right? He plays another character in the third movie that also flies a gyrocopter, but they are very explicitly two different people. I don't remember exactly how they differentiated. They made it. There was no way you could confuse it. Like they outright said they were two different people in some way, but there was the same actor playing two different parts that just so happened to basically do the same thing. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. Chris Pratt's character in Jurassic World is actually the kid in the very beginning of Jurassic Park.
Wait, excuse me? Oh.
He told that there's a kid in the beginning who said that the raptors weren't scary.
Oh, right.
Because they just look like turkeys. But he works with raptors, which means that therefore they must be the same character.
I'm not sure if the age lines up.
That's all the evidence.
I guess the age might line up on that actually, but
and then
I don't know. Honestly, that one's kind of got about as much grounds as like the Peter Parker being the little kid in Iron Man 2. So the studio could very well decide they want to make that canon.
Yeah, that'd be stupid. Jurassic Park should have just started and ended with that one movie.
Yeah, the first movie is incredible. And it's like every time I watch it. Yeah, every time I watch the first one, I'm reminded of just how amazing that movie actually is. Which is really hard to it's really easy to forget how good that movie is when you watch literally any of its sequels.
Yeah. Even the sequel. If you want to take the sequel, I'll take the first sequel if you want.
I actually don't know if I've ever seen 2.
Stop after that.
Yeah, no, there's this funny thing.
Definitely stop with 3.
There's like this funny thing where they used to do like those movies, you know, they would air movies on like Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network. I think it was like
Jurassic Park 2, Jurassic or Harder.
Jurassic Parker, yeah. Yeah, no, there was a thing
Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic Parkist.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever actually seen Jurassic Park 2 because the way I saw Jurassic Park 3 is it would air on like Cartoon Network every once in a while. They would air the first movie and the third one, but for some reason they never played the second one, which is what?
Alan.
What? Oh, Alan? Oh.
Alan.
Yeah.
You don't remember that?
I know the scene that you're talking about.
Alan.
Yeah. Should we move on to the... Oh, here, I've got a good one for you.
Say your thought that you were thinking.
That was kind of it. Just I've only ever seen the first and third one of the originals. Yeah, I never saw the second one because for some reason they never aired it on Cartoon Network, which tells me maybe there's something that happens in that one that they just couldn't censor for some reason. Because, you know, it's a kids' channel, so they always had to censor the movies quite a bit.
Now, here's the last one of this list. This one is dumb. James Bond is just a code name.
Oh, I've heard that one. Yeah.
Here's why it's a dumb theory. It's like, yes, they use different actors, but as long they're all nominally the same movies. They maybe are different takes, and they're all fairly standalone, but they clearly refer to the past movies as having happened. It's like basically it's like, why? Oh, there's different actors. They must be different people, and it's just a code name. It's like, well, I mean, he has a wife in one movie who gets killed. Then in another movie, he hunts down the guy for revenge. And then in another movie, he mentions that he had a wife once who was killed. Then he's seen visiting a grave for that wife. And then he kills Blofeld again at some point. And then another guy is like, oh yeah, he was married once. And he's played by a different guy in all those movies. It's like, it's clearly the same guy. And then, of course, the Daniel Craig movies, those are just a straight up reboot. So those don't even matter.
Yeah. And even, yeah. So those ones are clearly connected to each other. But yeah. Um,
And like Blofeld is his brother or whatever. I don't remember.
I didn't see all of the new ones, so I really don't know what happens.
Neither did I. I didn't really care.
Yeah, Casino Royale was pretty
From
good.
Russia with Love is one of the worst movies I've ever seen, though.
And also one of the worst video games ever made.
Yes. Hey, tell him why.
I don't want to.
You tell him.
It's just very
Huh?
unbalanced. They have like
No, tell him why. What's the specific thing that
the
you hated that
spy
I
copter.
love?
Yeah, so
And why?
Well, so we'd play like the deathmatch mode every now and then when we were hanging out, and
Yep.
the developers of that game had no sense of
Butterman,
fairness or balance.
Other guys.
Yeah, a few other friends too, but yeah, the developers had no sense of balance or fairness when they made that game. So there is it's a weapon called the spy copter that it's basically what it sounds like. It's a little drone helicopter. It's what?
It's the Q-copter.
Oh, the Q-copter, that's what it's called. Yeah, so you like let it go and you get to like remote control it, and then you can push a button to make it explode and immediately kill anything. So
Yes.
it's
really easy to replenish it on the map. Basically, every time you spawn, you're guaranteed at least one kill.
pretty much
From anywhere. Yeah, as soon as I spawn, I just create a helicopter. I immediately like zoom over to somebody and then kill them. And that's just it. They can't do anything about it.
And then while we're respawning, he goes and grabs it again, spawn back in, get blown up because there's no way to stop it. I think the only way you can,
so
in
broken.
theory, I think the only way you can like theoretically stop it is to shoot the copter down. But
it's hard though.
It's puny, and the aiming system is not much better than in GoldenEye. So it's actually probably worse than in GoldenEye because the game's like this weird third-person shooter thing. So yeah, no, there's no way to stop that thing. It is an unstoppable force.
If you somehow manage to shoot it, you cannot die. But good luck because it's tiny and it moves very fast.
If you shoot it too close to you, it probably kills you anyways.
Yes. Also, though, that game is really broken. Like, it doesn't have a lot of replay value.
Yeah, it's just not a good game.
And the maps are big. There's one thing, the thing I always like doing is that if you play on the weapon silo map, if you gather up the nuclear keys, you can launch the nuke and it kills everybody on the map who isn't in a safe bunker.
Right, yeah, no, that was actually like the most fun part of the game was trying to collect those keys.
Yeah, playing that map just so that you could try to be the first one to get all the nuclear keys.
Yeah, and then get to this bunker for safety. Yeah, it was great. So yeah, we had some fun playing that game for sure, but it is objectively a terrible game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
all right, you go for a bit.
So the monsters in Courage the Cowardly Dog are actually regular people. And they don't actually live in the middle of nowhere. So the whole idea is that Courage, we're just seeing the world from Courage's perspective. Courage, the Cowardly Dog, is just a normal dog that belongs to an elderly couple. They don't get out much. So as far as he knows, the entire world is just their little house in the surrounding area. He doesn't know. So yeah, they don't actually live in the middle of nowhere. That's just all that he knows. Except we'll get to why this is wrong later. And then all the people that are monsters are just him imagining them. It's basically, you know how dogs bark at anyone that comes to your door? And try to, It's that idea. He's basically a dog, and he thinks everything that comes to the door is a monster trying to kill his family, and he's trying to protect them. I don't know what else to say about it. It's like, there's episodes where they very much go to other places. They go into the city all the time. There's multiple episodes where they end up at weird, crazy locations. The monsters outright kidnap his owners. They're not just people, unless the dog's mind is really just running wild with it. But yeah, that's a fan theory for you. Your thoughts?
But they cross over with Scooby-Doo, though.
Yeah, which outright canonizes that weird stuff does just happen there because there's apparently a meteorite underground next to the ranch. Yeah, I don't know.
Something.
Which hilarious is that's like my favorite Scooby-Doo movie from like recent years, and it's not even really a Scooby-Doo movie.
Yeah.
It's a Courage the Cowardly Dog.
You definitely got more out of that than I did.
Yeah, it's a Courage the Cowardly Dog movie with Scooby-Doo characters in it. How about Peter Pan he actually kills any Lost Boy that grows up. So the Lost Boys, so they do age. He just kills any of them that grow up. And what?
Is this not the Peter Pan is the angel of death theory?
No, this is something different. Basically, the entirety of it, as far as I know, is that he kills any Lost Boys that grow up to be adults, and Captain Hook and his crew are escaped Lost Boys that are trying to kill him and make him stop.
What's the evidence?
I don't know. There probably isn't any.
The evidence is...
The evidence is because I said so. All right, I've got one theory left on my list, and it's a big
I've
one.
still got several. So yeah,
Yeah.
what's yours?
Well, this is a big one. Go ahead and rattle off like the rest of yours, and then we'll touch mine, or we'll touch on mine later.
Okay,
It's my
let's
big
see.
final theory. So
Oh yeah, I've got one of those. Let's see, I got a few here. Jack didn't exist and Rose was actually just having psychotic depression the entire time.
do you know my favorite Titanic theory?
RoboCop is Jesus Christ.
We're not going to elaborate on that. No, my
Let's see,
favorite Titanic theory is the one that Jack is actually a time traveler that is sent back to save Rose from dying on the Titanic because she is the mother of Sarah Connor. Or she's like the grandmother of Sarah Connor from the Terminator
Come
movies.
on!
Yeah.
No!
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see. Where's the there's the other one where the hold on. I'm getting a phone call. Distract them for a second.
Okay. Yeah, so that Titanic theory basically I think it hinges on the fact that there are a few like anachronisms in it. Like I guess Jack outright he refers to spending summers at a lake that is actually a man-made lake that didn't exist in 1912 when the movie took place. So or 19 yeah, I think 1912. Whenever that movie took place. Yeah, I think that's kind of there's a few other things. There's basically a few anachronisms that are like, how could he know about that unless he was from the future? And that's the entirety of the theory.
What theory?
Oh, I was just explaining the Titanic theory a little more. Basically, it entirely hinges on there being a few anachronisms and some things that Jack says.
Right, the time traveler one.
Yeah, and just, him being a time traveler obviously means that this is connected to the Terminator universe. Oh, yeah, that's because it's a James Cameron movie, and James Cameron also worked on Terminator, so.
Well, you see, and then here's the other problem, is that it's like, I don't know. Hold on, I have that one on my list. I'll just read it off later. So, let's see. Dark Knight, Joker might have been a war veteran. I mean, I guess, sure.
Yeah, that one you can't really disprove.
Name.
Like, that one's...
Grease is Sandy's elaborate fantasy before she drowns. Because you see, early in the movie, the ending of the movie, they've got the flying car.
Yeah,
so therefore,
flying to heaven.
It must be that, and not just maybe it's a stylistic movie.
Yeah, that entire movie is, like, stylistic. Yeah.
Childs is the thing.
Yeah. Wait, what? Who's the thing? Oh,
Childs.
Oh, yeah. Do we need a spoiler?
Here's the thing.
Do we need a spoiler banner for this one? Since it's it's the end of the thing.
Okay, put it up.
Yeah, it's up. This is one of my favorite movies. I don't want to spoil
respect to the thing.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil.
Here's the thing. I'm of the opinion. No.
Yeah, I don't really think so either.
First, I think both of them are people. I think they're just. It doesn't matter anyways. They're gonna freeze to death.
Yeah. Well, the answer is that. I think the director, John Carpenter actually did kind of want it to be. Well, I don't know. If either of them are a thing, it's definitely Childs. Like, that's the whole question, is like, who's the thing at the end, or if either of them. I think it could be Childs, just because he basically disappears for the entire like finale. He just kind of wanders off in his explanation as he was looking for somebody. I don't remember the other guy's name, but he was out looking for somebody, and that's why he wasn't there for pretty much any of the finale, and then he just suddenly shows up at the end. There are parts of the series that I think are... it was supposed to be ambiguous. It was supposed to be kind of a mysterious ending, and that was the whole idea, was that like, if basically the Thing's plan would be to just basically freeze, not, the human would freeze to death, the Thing would refreeze and, basically try again later, because it's established that he can freeze himself and, survive.
I mean, the people won.
More or less, well, unless Childs actually was a thing.
Unless you're going with like the Swedish dub or whatever, which adds one additional scene on it.
What does that say?
They just take the scene of the dog running and they put it again at the end of the movie.
Oh, gotcha.
Which makes the movie a whole lot worse, honestly.
Yeah, it really does. But yeah, no, that's the idea,
like,
though.
Nothing they did mattered.
Yes, I don't really think there's really any evidence for McCready being the Thing at the end. Childs, like I said, you could kind of read it that way just because he was gone for the entire finale and his explanation sounded a little flimsy. But once again, I don't even think the director really knew the answer.
Bittersweet ending, and that they won, and now they're gonna die.
Well, it was very much like they outright said, like, I think McCready says, if one of us has a surprise for the other, I don't think we're in any position to do anything about it. So they even acknowledge that one of them could be the Thing. And there's a part of the theory, they say that McCready, he hands him a bottle of beer, Well, they didn't really have any beer, so the idea, or he hands them a bottle of
They're
alcohol.
like, that was just gasoline.
Yeah, that
It's
was
like,
one of their
no,
Molotov cocktails, which I don't even.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I really don't know. Because if it was actually gasoline, like it's been established that the thing basically absorbs all your memories, so it would know to react to that badly if it actually was gas and not alcohol. In theory. But yeah, and then apparently the Thing video game, which actually takes place after that, outright confirms that both of them were humans.
Yes. Because of something about they can't replicate metal and buttons or whatever. I don't remember.
Yeah, I really don't know. Anyways, I'm going to take spoiler banner down now.
The Ghostbusters died when they crossed the streams. That one's been around forever.
Yeah, I don't.
The golden briefcase in Pulp Fiction actually contains Marcellus Wallace's soul.
Oh, I've heard that one. Yeah, it's because apparently there's a bandage on the back of his neck in like one shot, and that's apparently where the devil takes your soul from in some part of some folklore.
I feel like that's making something supernatural that didn't need to be.
I really don't know. Apparently the real explanation was that he had a shaving cut, and that's why he put a Band-Aid on it. I think that explanation is kind of bad, though, because, like, first of all, Quentin Tarantino is a very deliberate director. Like, he wouldn't have put that Band-Aid there if he didn't want you to see it. If he really did have a shaving cut, there's ways you could have covered that up very discreetly, and we would have never known about it. So I think there's probably some reason that the Band-Aid is there, but I don't think it's his soul in the box. Like, that would be the only supernatural thing in the entire movie.
Yeah.
So that's probably not what it is.
You ready for this?
Yes. Wait, is this your big final one?
No, I have a few.
Okay.
Aladdin, here's another standard one. Aladdin takes place in the post-apocalypse. What's the evidence? Well, the genie has pop culture references. Therefore, post-apocalypse. And it's like, or Robin Williams was just being Robin Williams, and they left it in the movie because they weren't worried about time.
Well, he also has the line about 10,000 years, and if the genie was in the lamp for 10,000 years, that would, that's too far back. Like that would be pre-humans, essentially. When that movie took place.
Not if you think evolution.
Well, yeah, no, like if you think evolution, like there's no way, like humans haven't been around long enough to have made a lamp and then for 10,000 years to pass. Like if you go back 10,000 years from that movie, they would have been cavemen.
It's a magic lamp. It just existed.
I guess. I don't know.
Once again, it's just people taking things too literally.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but that's the other piece of evidence for that theory. You just didn't mention that part. So I
Doc Brown, he tries to commit suicide by running himself over with the car. Except, wait a minute, that's dumb because he's not playing a depressed character, and why would he try to kill Marty too?
Yeah, I've heard that theory. Yeah, he was apparently depressed because his inventions weren't working, so that's why he stood in front of the car to run the test.
Even though that's not his personality at all in the movies.
No, yeah.
Now, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Ferris Bueller doesn't actually exist.
Oh, yeah, he's just there.
Even though the movie takes place from his perspective and has scenes that don't involve the other character and don't... So it's like, no, that's not how that works. And it's like, oh, Jack's dialogue, he has weird anachronistic dialogue.
Oh, yeah, this is the Titanic theory.
And there's no record of him on the ship. And it's like, that's because he won his way onto the ship at the last second. And
yeah, I mean, they can't. You actually can't explain the anachronistic dialogue other than it's just an oversight by the writers.
It's like, look, here, it's right here. If Ferris is a figment of Cameron's imagination, why does the film open with Ferris, introduce Ferris's family, introduce Ferris's enemies, and spend a significant portion of the running time dealing with Ferris subplots that are connected to Ferris and not Cameron? Why does the movie's climax deal exclusively with Ferris and characters who must also not exist since they're talking to him?
Yeah, no, it's
sorry, that's not how storytelling works.
Yeah. All right, we're we're at the hour and 11-minute mark for part 2, so that's taking this episode up to almost 2 hours.
I figured it would be.
Yeah, that's fine. Should I go ahead and give my big final theory though?
Game theory: Snape kills Trinity with Rosebud.
All right. So yeah.
Okay. Go.
Star Wars. All the humans in Star Wars were bees.
Okay. Good. Oh right, the bees. What?
Okay. So yeah, at least not necessarily bees per se. Just some kind of hive insect. Basically, the whole idea is that there are no actual humans in Star Wars because it takes place in a galaxy far, far away. They're just represented as humans for us because that just is what we could understand. That's I think
See,
like
the movie is actually not what the movie says it is.
yeah, basically it's saying that George Lucas was given like I think the website I read this on actually said something. It's like it's taking the premise that like George Lucas basically was given force visions of something that happened in a galaxy far, far away, and so to essentially cut costs, I guess, he decided to represent the most prominent species in the movie as humans, just so they wouldn't. I don't know. Basically, even though we see a million other tons of other alien creatures in Star Wars, the humans, are apparently not just plain humans.
No, they're bees. Somehow.
Yeah, they're bees. So here's the other points of evidence, though. Essentially, it explains why there are so few women in the original trilogy, and why all the women that appear are in places of power or royalty. So you got Princess Leia and Mon Mothma as the leader of the rebellion. It's because Queen Bees.
It has nothing to do with the movie coming out in the 70s.
Yeah. Also, apparently, people aside from the Force sensitives, like basically Luke is the only one in the original trilogy that talks about his parents, which implies that parentage in this universe is not that important, which implies large broods, short gestation periods, young age of maturity, etc. Things that bees have that makes the family.
Your parents are random people.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, that's a point of evidence. But this is kind of the whole breakdown of theories that in the movies, the male force-sensitive characters we see represent basically fertile male bees. Male non-force-sensitive characters are actually representations of infertile females, which are basically the soldier bees in a hive, right? That is how a beehive works, essentially. It's like the males basically fertilize the queen, the non-fertile females are the soldiers, and then the fertile women or the fertile female bees are the queen. So that's it.
But this is what
yeah.
Guys, what if George Lucas was actually having psychic visions of a bee galaxy, and that's what Star Wars was the whole time?
I mean, I think they're saying that's like the premise
clearly
of the movie. Yeah, so all the humans in Star Wars are actually bees. And there's a few other points to this one, actually, too. I'm going to go ahead and just pull it up. I wasn't going to get into these, but I think it's worth getting into.
I have to go eat dinner soon. I've only got one theory left, so...
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I got to go eat soon, too. So here we go. There's a few other things it explains. The Emperor's reproductive and political strategy. The Emperor, who is a fertile male, has replaced the old queen and is substituting the use of clone warriors for normal biological reproduction. So basically, since he can't make his own babies...
This totally ties into the Rise of Skywalker. It all makes sense now.
Yeah, so basically they're saying that since he can't, that's why he made his clone army, except Palpatine didn't make the clone army, so this entirely falls apart.
I mean, he kind of did.
Kind of. I mean, Sifo Dyas...
He ordered it.
Well,
he didn't order it.
Yeah, he made Sifo Dyas do it.
Dooku and Sifo Dyas. Sifo Dyas ordered it initially, and then Dooku took over the...
Yeah, he took it over and implanted the... Yeah, whatever.
And then Palpatine's like, hey, put mind control chips into the clones, which will kill everyone.
Yeah, and then... That also basically is saying that makes the Clone Wars even more horrifying, because it's not just where they're using like a war. It's not just a war where they're using clones. It's like they're basically outright like inverting the hierarchy of the. Yeah, basically. Yeah, it doesn't matter, but okay. There's a point about Jabba's humanoid slaves. What? Okay.
Yeah, the Twi'lek girl.
Here,
I'll just read
this one verbatim. It says, "Doesn't it seem weird that a presumably hermaphroditic gastropod? He's not a hermaphrodite though. They're outright are male and female huts in Star Wars.
Yeah, and they carry their young in a sack.
Yeah, it says, why should they be fascinated with displaying captive females of another species? The hive insect theory makes this habit of clearing childhoods. What happened to his son? Oh, you mean Zero? Or no, not Zero. Zero is the uncle.
No, his son.
He's
got a son in the movie, and we never see it again.
I'm sure he will appear again in... He'll probably appear in one of the Disney Plus series. But yeah, basically they're saying that he displays human slaves as a show of dominance. I guess. I don't know. Why kill the Jedi? I mean, sure, kill the old ones, but wouldn't it be easier to convert younglings than wipe them out? Drones in the absence of a queen naturally Drones, in the absence of a queen, naturally rear fertilized eggs into new queens. If Palpatine is destroying the queen, trying to destroy the queen, he can not permit the existence of any drones. Oh, so that's why he's killing all the Jedi, so that they don't fertilize a new queen.
Once more, the Sith will rule the galaxy.
And then, yeah, the last one is the Death Star is a giant artificial hive. So it's not just a super weapon.
Okay, sure. Why not?
All right.
All right.
So, yeah, Star
I want
Wars
you to look
PLPs.
something up for me.
Okay.
My last theory. The bigger Luke theory.
The bigger Luke theory for Star Wars?
Look up bigger Luke. There's a whole website.
Bigger Luke.
I'm going to start reading it while you look that up.
All right.
Bigger Luke, commonly abbreviated to BL, or more uncommonly BGL, is the slightly larger manifestation of Luke Skywalker that is said to appear in certain scenes of the original Star Wars trilogy, contrasting to regular Luke. We've got Luke Prime here pictured, and bigger Luke, who is slightly taller.
About, yeah,
The
probably
appearance of
2
bigger
inches,
Luke-
maybe. No, like 1 or 2 inches at most.
Do you see it?
Yeah, I see the diagram.
You there?
He's like roughly
The
an inch
particular
taller.
scene will not always judge relative to the height of Han Solo, and such as Han is the primary go-to frame of reference amongst bigger Luke theorists. Because of this, no Han pics, commonly abbreviated to NHP, are generally discouraged, as it's very difficult to determine Luke's height without Han Solo as a constant frame of reference. Whilst uncommon, the use of other Star Wars characters to judge Luke height are not unheard of. The second most common character to judge if bigger Luke is in the scene or not has generally been Obi-Wan, followed closely by Princess Leia. We've got the canon Luke hypothesis, sometimes simply the bigger Luke hypothesis, in which it is theorized that within the Star Wars and canon, there does indeed exist a version of Luke Skywalker that is slightly larger than a posited regular Luke Skywalker or Luke Prime. The Hamill hypothesis, in which it is theorized that there exists an uncredited Mark Hamill lookalike who was used in certain scenes of the original trilogy for undisclosed reasons and whose identity is yet to be determined.
Okay, so I guess...
And you can see by these pictures that you can see that clearly Luke's height changes in various images. As you can see clearly by this blue rectangle and red line, it shows Han Solo. Here in this scene, you can see that he's behind Han Solo, and therefore the perspective is not off at all. Meanwhile, I propose the smaller Han theory, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Now, you can see Lando, when he sees Luke, he gets befuddled. He lays eyes at our hero for the first time and quickly loses interest. Towards the end of the scene, he stares at Luke with a very perplexed expression. Being the proficient card player and gambler he is, one would assume that Lando Calrissian has a very keen eye, perhaps the best eyes in the galaxy. It is therefore distinctly possible that Lando did in fact perceive a height change in Luke between two different viewings. What could possibly trigger such bewilderment but a sudden change in Luke's sizes mere seconds between viewings? Now, if he was interesting, this would seem to in favor of the canon Luke hypothesis and refute the Hamill hypothesis. However, the Hamill hypothesis can evilly reconcile this difference. Now, if you look at these pictures of stormtroopers, Han has the long rifle, and Luke, he's a little bit too short for a stormtrooper. Now, the size debate, we don't know if it's 2 to 3 centimeters, 1 centimeter, or 4 to 5 centimeters. A minority of bigger Luke theorists subscribe to the Cent Luke hypothesis, believing that the size discrepancy between bigger Luke and regular Luke is very minute, measuring about a centimeter. Now, we can see between these three drawings that the 4 to 5 centimeter Luke is much taller and is probably less likely.
God. So I guess my question is why? Like, why does this matter?
Now, if we go to the fringe theory...
Oh my gosh. You're cutting out. I think.
Hold on. I need to show you the fringe theories on this theory that.
Where do I find those?
On the bigger. Oh, there's a tab. It's not a very intuitive website. Let's see.
Yeah, wait,
We have the smaller Luke hypothesis posits that Luke Prime is in fact what most theorists designate bigger Luke, and that the regular Luke is in fact a smaller Luke. So this theory is closely tied to Fora. Hold on. The frame of reference argument is considered controversial, and it's widely despised among the bigger Luke community, which is, hold on. We'll have to go to the frame of reference argument for more detail.
Okay,
now, of course,
I
we
can't
have
even find
Russian
any-
optics. Hold on. Let me go to the Russian optics theory page so I can explain that.
The
We got
Russian
frame of
optics?
reference argument.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Russian optics theory. It explains potentially the size discrepancy between Luke and the idea that perhaps there's a Luke look-alike. Now, if we go back to the initial bigger Luke page, we can go on to the we can go to the Hab. So, the Fora, the frame of reference argument, argues that Luke Prime is intrinsically tied to the extremely controversial and the fringe policy. You see, in the bigger Luke theory, the fringe theory is that there's a smaller Luke. Fora frequently describes any discussion around which should be used to determine bigger Luke. Now, the frame of reference argument was first posited by a member of the Star Wars Ultranet board in the early 1990s. This user proclaimed the alleged arbitrariness of there being a bigger Luke, citing the alleged lack of consistent criteria to define which Luke was, in fact, Luke Prime. Now, we have a picture here. 52 minutes in, smaller Luke theorists would have you believe this proves the existence of smaller Luke. But one can determine through close examination that Luke is actually closer to the camera in this image, which means that bigger Luke is in fact Luke Prime. Obi-Wan can be seen on the left-hand side frame, clearly shorter than Han Solo. Now, if we use Obi-Wan, can use him to determine Luke's height, but there are certain critics of that idea. See, the limit, this is the amount of times you can see bigger Luke and regular Luke compared to Obi-Wan is very limited due to the fact that Obi-Wan dies on the Death Star and Luke is only on screen with his Force Ghost a minuscule number of times, but no more times than A New Hope. So, this deemed a relevant question because, at least for canon Luke theorists, that would be a reason for why bigger Luke exists in universe, unless the creators of Star Wars wanted viewers to figure out that there was bigger Luke. So let's see.
Oh my god.
Now, the Russian optics theory, on the other hand, states that, or Samuel's leak, commonly abbreviated to ROT, ROC, or LLH, explains that apparently, well, hold on, let me go back to the beginning. June 23rd, 1998, a man identifies as Samuel, who first shows up in the bigger Luke chat, and he claims that he worked for the CIA and that he had important information pertaining to the bigger Luke hypothesis. In the early 1970s, they acquired a set of experimental lenses for the re-entry of a capsule from the Russian Zenit-type Raycon satellite, believed to have been recovered from the off-coast of Guam. The lenses were designed to magnify images to such an extent that they could take detailed and high-resolution photographs of American military bases. Now, these were kept secret. These lenses were modified and used and swapped into the lenses of a Panavision PSR 35mm camera that was used to film A New Hope. You see, these lenses didn't function as intended and ended up magnifying a few things, which made it appear that Luke was bigger in certain frames as opposed to others. So, in 2001, during the winter, 3 years later, is the only other time Samuel appeared. He continued to defend the initial claims, as well as a few other explanations. This implies that instances of bigger Luke may have different explanations. Now, if we go back to the fora, the frame of reference argument, the problem, we can also use Owen Lard, which is advocates of the smaller Luke hypothesis. Hold on, hold on. Let me explain the Hamill hypothesis in more detail.
Oh my gosh.
As I go to that page. Now you see, the Hamill hypothesis says that there's actually an uncredited Mark Hamill lookalike, and there in fact is not a bigger or smaller Luke, but in fact is a separate actor to cover up for Mark Hamill's accident back in New Hope. Now, the problem with this is that it doesn't account for the extra appearances of bigger Luke in The Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi, and that scars of the accident were featured in the film, explained by the wounds from the Wampa attack. Now, the multi-Luke hypothesis, let me just open that up really quick. This hypothesis states that all the instances of Luke there's a, what is this? They have different causes. So there's the canon Luke and the Hamill canon hypothesis, or the Ham can, which is a sub-theory of the multi-Luke hypothesis and the most popular sub-theory on the thing. My God. Now, let's see. The multi-Luke page, that doesn't actually exist. But the smaller Luke hypothesis cites that the first two shots in which Luke is seen as evidence of smaller Luke, as Luke appears slightly larger in the first shot, not much bigger than he does in the second shot. Any questions?
No, I think I got it. Oh my God. Yeah, jeez. Is that everything?
No. So anyway.
Oh my God.
Luke Prime.
I think I'm just gonna start the outro music. You there? Oh no, he's gone quiet.
No, I was just putting something in the Discord really quickly.
Oh,
anyways,
you got something for me. Okay.
Hold on. I need to go to the regular Luke theory, which is abbreviated to RGL. Here we've got a pictured regular Luke. Is he really the regular Luke? We got the frame of reference argument once again. Regular Luke at 1 hour and 39 minutes, clearly shorter than Han Solo, and is generally considered in contrast to bigger Luke. Back to the main bigger Luke. We go back to the frame of reference argument. First two shots you see it does in the second shot, which is anyways, no.